Welcome to Sports Sushi. Your chefs for tonight are Sports Plug Russ, serving up the spiciest sports takes of the week. Sterling Furrow, rolling the X's and O's into an analytical maki platter. And finally, the moderator who always keeps the sake flowing, DJ Slow Boogie. Now grab those chopsticks and get ready, because your order of fresh and raw sports sushi is up.
Yo. Another episode of Sports Sushi. It's another Wednesday. You know, you kind of caught me off guard. I was over here doing shit on my phone, but hey, you know, you got me now. My whole full undivided attention, everybody. Another episode of Sports Sushi is another Wednesday. How y'all folks doing today, man? Good, I hope.
Well, I'm gonna say this, man. I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but I have some bad news. I'm gonna give in a good way. I want this episode to be meant for one person only, and that's my homie from back in the day, like high school, that passed away tragically last week. Darius Lil Red Thomas. Yo, this one's for you, bro. Sports Sushi.
R.P. Darius, man. Sad news, dog. We don't hate to hear whenever a colleague has a close death. But yes, let's dedicate this show to Darius. All right, man. We're gonna get into a lot of different topics today. Couple sport topics, but before we get into that, man, how y'all folks doing, man? You know, Russ, Sterling, how y'all doing today, brothers?
Well, so Russ should be doing real well, considering his Cowboys got a dub in the playoffs. So,
yeah, we go get into that.
I'm gonna stick my chest out. I can guess y'all can
He
guess.
said I'm gonna puff it out
this week.
yeah, this week. But
hey,
it's all good over here. Shoot.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, man. It was a very wild card weekend. So that's the thing, you know, the topic of the show. A lot of close games, some upsets.
One wasn't though.
Yeah, one wasn't. Look, it was a lot of good football. I can guarantee you that.
Sure.
Nobody walked away there disappointed unless you were a fan of the losing teams. You know,
Tampa
but
Bay.
yeah, Miami.
Vikings.
Yeah.
We got a whole show for y'all, so we're gonna get into that a little bit later.
Before that, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get to MMA. Look, UFC, in the world of UFC, what's going on right now? Jon Jones is back. Okay, look, Jon Jones has been on the show for about Oh shit, we are doing this day in sports.
I didn't know if it switched up the order, but I got you real quick because this is gonna be real.
Yeah,
quick.
go ahead.
This was kind of live. In honor of the playoffs, I stuck with the NFL, and on January 18th, 1951, the NFL rules that tackles, guards, and centers are ineligible forward passes. Of course, now they allow them to report, but are ineligible forward passes. No, those three can't still. But anyways, unless you can report tackles. But anyways, yes, back in the day before 1951 and 1951 and January 18th, before then, you could say hut and throw it to your center.
And I'm gonna tell you like this.
And toss it. The NFL was wild. Could you imagine
RPOs back then? RPOs back then?
Could you imagine Trent Williams going in motion and like just doing one of them whip routes and catching that bitch in the open field? We're getting no more than probably 10 yards, but it would be the most amazing rough 10 yards. But anyways, hey, that shit happened today in sports. The evolution of football. Now we're at the playoffs, and now we have all these other types of plays that they do.
Yes,
imagine an RPO in 1951.
What? That would be off the goddamn chain.
Man, someone would. I always had this question before we move on. Could y'all imagine what happened the first time someone did a play action fake? That probably fucked up the team.
If we're talking play action fakes, you need to do play action fake with that Michelob Ultra you're drinking up there.
Hey, man, it's healthy.
He said it's healthy.
Hey, Michelob,
what's it got, like 3 calories?
Hey, Michelob, I think it got like 2.6, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Respect the six pack.
Hey man,
no, you know what, Michelob? They may hate you, but I don't, so we should work together.
I don't hate Michelob, man. Like Michelob, it just want to be the last things I grab. I ain't gonna lie to you. But to be honest, I drink Coors Light, so I mean, take that as what you will.
I'm not having this argument.
The
That's
banquet
water
beer.
too.
Yeah.
That's water too.
I know,
Yeah.
dog. But
I'm
it's the
from Texas.
Rockies.
I've had Shiner. I've had
Yeah.
all that shit. It's cool, but
Yeah.
in my elderness, statesness, I like
Yeah,
a
bro.
cool glass of water with alcohol in it.
You know, exactly. Dog. You just want something crisp and light. That's all. You know, nothing too
Oh
heavy.
my God! This man
You know?
said
Crisp and light,
He
nigga.
said crisp
Would you
and
rather-
light. That boy been on the commercial, dog.
Would you rather me be drinking this?
Hold on, you can't move past that. This nigga said crisp
Yeah,
and
bro.
light.
Yeah, bro. Refreshing,
Crystal
dog.
Crystal Light was refreshing as much. See, that's when people get fucked up, but they act like you can't be refreshed by your drink. Yes, I know it's considered bitch beer and it's watered down and yada 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 yada.
I ain't
Yeah,
never
don't
heard
give
a
fuck.
nigga say I am refreshed
This-
by fucking Michelob Ultra.
Okay, see this is what
And you a real nigga, so I'm surprised that you said that.
This is where some shit got fucked up along the way, because beer is not supposed to just be this tasteful treat. It's supposed to be very cold and very refreshing.
He
See,
said a
nigga-
tasty treat.
Hey, nah, you see, y'all started
That
letting
nigga
y'all
in the
started letting
world,
everybody want to drink and everybody wanted to put flavors and stuff.
bro. Nobody ever called
Hey.
beer a treat, dog.
Ever. It's not. If I wanted to drink something flavorful and delicious, I'd get a Dr. Pepper. I get a Sprite, a fruit punch. You know what I'm saying? Something with
Fair.
This
Yeah.
is water with alcohol in it. This is for people that want to drink alcohol but don't feel like mixing
Nah.
one.
I feel like I need a beer now. Shit.
See?
Get you a Michelob.
I'm telling
Michelob
you.
be
A
fucking
tasty
with you.
treat.
Light and crisp. Light and
Light
crisp.
and
dog.
crisp.
It's club soda. That'll get you.
I'll
drunk.
never forget that. Only on Sports Sushi did
Yeah,
you get it. That's raw.
Hey man, you know what else is good with sushi? Beer. All right. Oh, he popped the fresh one. He popped the fresh one.
Michelob.
All right, man.
Meant to be together. But let's go ahead and move it on, because you was
All
talking
right.
about Jon Jones being back. We got, you know what I'm saying? Let's talk about him being back. He back.
All right, man. So Jon Jones is officially back. After about a 2-year hiatus, he vacated the lightweight heavyweight title to move up to the heavyweight, and in the process could not land a fight, and he's thus been training at the heavyweight weight for these past 2 years. So this will be the first time we see Jon Jones in quite some time, but his debut at the heavyweight weight class. Jon Jones is, if you don't know, he is considered one of the greatest, if not the greatest,
greatest.
MMA fighter. The only person to beat Jon Jones is cocaine and and alcohol. So Jon Jones can only beat Jon Jones.
I
All
love
right.
it. I love it.
Yeah, Jon Jones can only beat Jon Jones. So let's go ahead and
He the
get
best
that out the
ever,
way.
though. He just like to party.
Yeah, man. Look,
But that's even more than his greatnest. Y'all out here getting your ass whooped by
You gotta
dudes
understand,
smoking
okay.
lines and drinking alcohol.
yeah, man. Like what warrior
The
you
night
know?
before.
What warrior don't that doesn't go and decompress after battle? Like, all right, this
He
man.
truly is the Black Panther.
Yeah,
like,
bro.
you know, like for real.
And
He
so
got
what
this-
if he decides to bump some white lines and hit some white cheeks? Okay, what's so wrong about
I'm
that?
just saying, like, see,
You
y'all,
gotta
like,
get in where you fit in, buddy.
Yeah, bro.
Because, see, Chadwick Boseman, like, rest in peace, you were dope as a character, but I envision my Black Panther as a nigga like Jon Jones. In the suit, whooping
Well-
ass, taking names, and after he done, he gonna do party his way.
Well, we're going to get. Well, I'm gonna be honest. I have another candidate for Black Panther. We're gonna get into him in a minute. But Jon Jones, is
I
a
fucked
league-
up the read down.
yeah,
Never
yeah,
mind.
he is in a league of his own. Jon Jones is. But he will take on Cyril Gane, the Frenchman from France or wherever he's from. But most importantly, they're fighting for the vacated interim heavyweight title. Now, I've seen Cyril Gane in these past couple bouts with Francis, and I think he knocked out it was someone else he KO'd. But Jon Jones, I'm very interested in seeing him in his heavyweight debut, just like the rest of the MMA community, and kind of just curious to see what type of fighter you will see. Will you see a guy that the typical Jon Jones is going to strike him to hell? Or you're going to see a Jon Jones with a ground game. So we don't know what we're going to see.
Jon Jones will whoop his ass.
Well, look,
I know. Is this Glass Joe or what?
nah, man.
I'm just saying.
Cyril Gane ain't no hoe, man. But
He don't have to be.
He ain't no
Unless
Jon Jones.
Unless Jon Jones is like old, decrepit, and just ain't no good no more, he about to whoop
Yeah,
his ass.
yeah, and some people are kind of worried about the rust and the fact that
That nigga
he
has
hasn't been
more
active.
hands
And
than
the last few fights, people felt like Dominic Reyes had got the better of him and things like that. But look, man, I'm gonna say this. Look, whatever, nigga. Jon Jones, bitch, for the president of the world and the
Jon
universe,
Jones,
nigga.
my goat.
Yeah, so Jon Jones,
Cocaine, alcohol.
yeah, whichever version you're talking about.
I don't care. Him inside the octagon he winning.
Yes. So, but yeah. So, but let's go ahead and talk about our next guy. The former UFC heavyweight champion, Francis Ngannou, was formerly employed by the
Damn.
UFC. They released him because they said that they could not get into a contract agreement. But it's always two sides to the story.
Yeah.
Dana White is always going to say that this guy is not ready to fight. We gave him X, Y, and Z. He said no, no, no. So we got to move on. And the two sides couldn't come to agreement. Ngannou knows his worth. He wants I guess a certain dollar amount. You got the beer. What kind of beer is it?
Now, okay, so it's a Sam Adams with like 2 shots of Vanilla Crown in it.
Oh,
Bro,
damn,
see,
boy.
No.
Okay,
see, now look, I'm not. No, those who know me, if you know, you know. Don't do this, Sterling. You don't want to do this to yourself, and I'm not gonna do it tonight.
Why?
Like, nah. What? 2 shots of all right,
Nigga, I gotta take the edge off, bro.
Yeah, he said, "Dog, it's been a long day."
No. Drink as much. Boogie, see, he doesn't know. He doesn't know.
Yeah, look.
Doesn't know. Hey, you know what? Y'all out. Go ahead. It's cool. I drink in light amounts. It's the new Russ.
Yeah.
Man.
He ain't lying though.
2 shots of Crown.
Yeah.
Hey, look, if y'all ain't gonna do it, I have to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm just saying. When we
Taking it for the team, baby.
When we kick it, we're gonna go live.
Oh, we're gonna go hard. We're gonna go hard.
Oh yeah.
Sailor Man Russ was a person, man. That's all I have to say.
You see the IG? He was a man.
Yeah, he was a man.
A man now had no limits.
All right.
I try to touch God on a Saturday night.
No, man. He used to push his limits. Like he
yeah. Push is an understatement.
Yeah.
Them hoes into submission.
Try to put him in the figure 4.
Oh my
God. All right, man.
We can have stories with Russ later, though. Let's kick it.
Oh yes. All right, man. So but let's go ahead and resume. But basically, Ngannou and the UFC could not get an agreement. He's a free agent, and we got to wait and see where he might fight next. But let's go ahead and move over to the NBA. All right. Who caught the John Morant dunk?
Bruh.
Who caught the John Morant dunk?
Yeah, he hit it before I could.
I saw it.
I believe that we're at this time. I called in guys' career when you just they've always been the best, and so now they're just being tested at every point. So you just get the best of them. Like when they're just in this midpoint, I call it before they get good enough to win a championship. They always are just super athletic, do crazy shit, and I'm just happy for the entertainment. Like I remember like back in the day when Kobe was still rocking the 8 fast break against Jay Will behind the back. Yeah, what is it? Behind the back reverse dunk. And just that type of shit. And he's just been flying through the air like a whirling dervish since he got to the league. So I don't know. It is the dunk. I think it's the dunk of the year. I think so. Because I can't think of another one off the top of my head. Oh, no, it's not the dunk of the year. It's not. I'm sorry. Jason Tatum looked Giannis in the eyes. And put that nigga in the room. He looked him in the eyes like, "Do you want to do this?" And Giannis, yes. And he said, "Okay, you chose this battle."
Say, hey, do you want to die?
That man said, "Hey, guess what? We're going straight to Valhalla." And those who don't know, the John Morant dunk was crazy, but something's to be said about Jason Tatum looking the best player in the NBA, as it said, in the eyes, who dunks on everybody. Giannis, word up though, you gotta try to block it. Like, so it was like you gotta go for it. But yeah, sometimes you die by the sword. You live by the sword, you die by it.
It's the bounce for me, man. I mean, just to see him like that acceleration and just get up like that. Man, it's pretty impressive, man. You know, I feel like I had to watch it like 4 or 5 times, bro. It was impressive. It was impressive.
His ability to sneak people is stupid.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Like I
yeah.
like he's athletic, but he still sneaks people. Like he'll be going to the goal, and he jumps at times when normal people don't jump to dunk. He'll just jump and he'll get enough height to dunk. And most of his dunks I think happen like that because if you watch it, you're watching for him to fly, but he always catches everybody he dunks on. He catches when they're just like, is he about to go?
Mm-hmm.
And right before that step you take before you try to block it, he's already in there yamming on you.
He's twitchy, man. He's so twitchy.
Very,
he's 6'1".
So
he might be the twitchiest we've seen in a long.
Well, since Russell Westbrook.
Uh,
Early Russell Westbrook?
No, I was gonna say yeah, but Westbrook before the injury had the super bounce.
Yeah.
After the injury, he just dunked really. He has other bounce, but he just dunked really hard in your face.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like that. But his bounce is graceful.
It's not. Yeah.
Like on some like he dunks hard, but that nigga like mini Vince with his shit is graceful. Like like Vince Carter would jump super high, but it was graceful. It wasn't just all power. When Jon Morant take off, it's like you can hear the violins playing in the background and the angels singing like he's floating up, and then he just yams that bitch. But
yeah,
I get Steve Francis is another one that comes to mind with him.
Derrick Rose before his injury.
Yeah,
I think he's the best small guard to like really so twitchy, fast.
Derrick Rose is a good one.
I'll say this:
he's not that though.
The Jon Morant dunk when I first seen it, I didn't see it live. I seen the replay. You know, I had the reaction like I'm holding. You know, I was like the bench players. You know, I'm holding invisible people back on my couch. They ain't even there. Like, oh shit. You know what I'm saying? But that punch, you know, that shit was intense. It reminded me of the Ricky Davis punch whenever he did it when he was with Boston. The oh shit. When he rolls on him,
bruh.
And after he was done, he was like, "Oh shit!" That was the same type of feeling it invokes for me. It's like, "Oh shit!"
Like the bounce he gets is stupid. So the fact we compare him to like people of yesteryear that have crazy stupid bounce, I think that most people would look at me and say, "Nah, Russ, you got to give it to Jon." I just have a thing for when two people are on the basketball court and one's under the goal and sees the guy coming to dunk and one guy's coming to dunk and they both make the decision that you either gonna block this or I'm going to mash on you, and then they go. And so that's why I love. And then it was the two best players on the team on each team playing like going head up. So I give that to Jason Tatum, but it's a top 5 dunk of the year, of course, probably number 2. We can revisit this later on.
Oh yeah, we
got time. We got number time, baby.
I don't have a Rolodex of every dunk that happened this year. So I'm sorry, America.
But, all right.
But the first 2 that come to mind are those.
Okay,
and some shit Aaron Gordon did a couple weeks. But go ahead.
Yeah, Aaron Gordon did mash them hoes.
Yeah, is hooping right now.
Yeah.
And you in the city, Sterling, so I know you get to see it.
I've been to a couple Nuggets games this year already. So
what you think? What you think about them?
Hey man, they good. I think if Murray continues to heal right and get his rhythm back, he's looking good. He's looking better. But rubber meets the road in March. I think that's when we're gonna know like, okay, the Nuggets for real or not. But Bones Highland is he's cold, bro. You know they got you know they could play 7 or 8 strong. You know that rotation is deep. You know, they rank number 1 in 3-point percentage. You know, the Nuggets are really good, man. Jokic could very well three-peat as an MVP. I mean, did y'all see the 40 and the triple-double he had last night? You know, he's incredible, man. So the Nuggets, I don't want to say that they're going to win the chip, but man, if they don't, like, if Michael Porter can stay healthy, they got a shot.
He's the key to me.
Yeah,
I think when people talk about the West and like, oh man, would they be good enough to win a champ? I think they have a legitimate shot. I don't look at them like nah. They've beaten the Clippers. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They've beaten the they could beat the Mavs. You know what I'm saying? So they've beaten some of the best teams. You know what I'm saying? So I like what the Nuggets look like. I hope the Mavs can get another player. If this gets out to the Pelicans or Zion, bro, like, can you just like please play February 2nd, because I'm about to get tickets to that hole, and I really would like you to be there. I mean, I could pick a whole nother game to go to. You know
He
what
said,
I'm
if you're
saying?
not gonna
Like,
be there, you know,
I
I'll
could pick
just
a whole
go.
nother Zion. You know what I'm saying? Hit me on the Twitter line, or just put out a thing. But it's
Like, hey, I'm playing.
Like, otherwise, I will go see them play the Kings for like $100 instead of paying
Hey.
whatever it costs to sit close to see you.
Hey, man, look,
Hey,
ain't nothing wrong.
Sabonis and Fox, man. That's
Yeah.
No, I'm saying, but those tickets are gonna be way less.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's true. That's
You know
true.
what I'm saying? But I really like. I haven't seen Zion play in person, and I want to see that. So
Yeah.
bad.
Oh yeah,
You know
most
what I'm
definitely.
saying? Like, I got to see that human, and plus, and then you throw in Ingram and McCullum, and it's live basketball is a really, I think, man, I'm not gonna lie, it might be
Better than football.
Top, yeah, better. Than football.
We'll get to that. We can definitely get to that.
We
get that next week.
Because we can. I'm not like standing on the hill beating my foot, but I am saying, like, because I know football brings the violence, and there's nothing you can do about the violence. But just as far as like pure like entertainment, and oh my god, I can't do that ever in my life. If I tried a million times, you'll see that about like 17, 18, 19 times, 20 times in an NBA game.
So, but yeah,
you get to see how big they really are, because when you really see, like, when you go and see how big like Dirk is, and you're like, he does all that. I'm 6'3", you know what I'm saying? I'm like, he does all that.
Yeah, you be like, how the hell?
You know what I'm saying? Like, how the fuck? Like, you look at Paul Pierce and go, that's how he scores all them points and looks like he's not athletic at all, because he's wide as fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's I like it, but football got the violence, bro. You ain't gonna see you're not gonna see car crashes like that with humans on a regular basis.
All right. Well, go ahead. Let's move on to the next subject. On the subject of dunks, keeping with the dunks, D League player Matt McClung is entering the dunk contest. The first D player, the first D League player to do so.
D League or G League?
G League. I'm talking about fucking D League. He's G League. I'm sorry.
I was just like, they got another league that's lower
Yeah.
than the G.
I
know what he means.
Yeah, I'm looking at fucking the NCAA shit and stuff like that. But I was like, oh goddamn it, no. But G League, the first G League player to do so. I've seen the clips and I've heard of his name in the past. I've heard that he could dunk. I do like it. Like, I gotta agree with Russ. I like it. I think him entering is going to encourage a lot more people to enter. Hopefully, a lot of G League players that that got bounced, man. That that can shine in this particular stage, man. But how do you guys feel about it?
I think it's cool, man. Max McClung been on the radar for a long time, man. Even in high school, he's a high flyer, bro. That white boy can jump.
Man, I need to see his DNA.
Seriously, because he got straight nigga in that blood.
Hey, bro, he might be
Don't
like
he?
Mike McDaniel. He might be like Mike McDaniel, but I don't trust it. He jumped
that boy. Hey, what?
Negro and them toes, nigga.
Ain't it though? 10 toes down, boy. That dude be jumping off a pogo stick, man.
Bro, for real. Bounce.
I think it's cool, man, to see him. First of all, see him on a national stage like the NBA dunk contest, because I mean he's kind of messed around in the summer league, and he's had some 10-day contracts and stuff. Maybe this will give him enough shine to be able to, stick with a roster here soon. But for the entertainment purpose, I mean, how many of y'all really watch the dunk contest? I don't anymore. It's really not. I mean, it's not that entertaining because it's the same dunks, right? But for him, for his sake, yeah. Like I'm gonna tune in. I'm gonna just watch his shit, and then I'm gonna be done. But just support Max. But I'm good on that.
I like it, of course, but I agree with Sterling, but I do say that I think this is something that needs to happen. It's the same dunks because the NBA players, man, let's just be honest, they worried about other shit. Like honestly, like when the dunk contest was hot, it was because we've never seen those dunks, and the only people that could windmill was Dr. J and Dominique Wilkins and Michael Jordan. The only people that could do that shit was them. You know what I'm saying? Like for the longest, we watched NBA guys do all these dunks, and like nobody could really do them, but then them. All of y'all know, Sterling, I know you know. An average day at practice at a D1 college, you will see all these dunks. Practice.
Hey,
you will see crazier shit. Rest on my soul. Rest in peace to Darius, bro. The dude, my homie that died. He used to be able to throw it off the top of the, not the square, but the top of the backboard. Get it to bounce off. He catch it with his right hand, and then wrap that bitch between his legs with his left and yam that hole. I've never seen a guy do that in the NBA. I had another homie that could tap the glass and spin and do a 360 the other way. Things I have not seen NBA players do. And so when you see that kind of stuff in everyday, like just, oh, this is just what I see at AAU games before the game, or this is what you see at basketball practices. And if you go to college basketball games before the tip-off and you see the layup lines, you're going to see some crazy shit. I saw LeBron James play once. That shit is amazing. I don't think he does it anymore because he's older, but I saw him play when he was like 23 or like 20. Like LeBron James, young LeBron James, before the motherfucking thing goes off or they tip off, and he's just throwing the ball off the glass and yamming it in different ways. That's
incredible.
It's crazy, you know what I'm saying? But they don't do it in the dunk contest setting. So why not tell all the dunkers that are in the G League, the NBA, hell, get some of these pro dunkers out here. Like what they do? Everybody hates Chris, and who's the white dude with the dyed hair that be doing all that crazy shit? Like, call them all and say, yo, 100 G's, who could come get this motherfucker? Do the best dunk. Like, that's changed to the NBA. It's entertainment for us, because instead of us watching NBA guys that look at it as, which they should, man, I got to go out here and do this dumb shit. I've been doing this shit since I was fucking 15. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like doing these little tricks. You know, I got to work on my jump shot and get my game right. You know what I'm saying? So, like, have the three-point contest and everything the same that it is, but let these other people come in and do these dunks for this money, because we always want to see someone go for a bet, because they're going to give it they all, because $100,000 is going to be a lot to it.
Shit, give them 500. Give them 500,000, man. Like, they can afford it, you know what I'm saying? And just make it for the G Leaguers.
Yeah. I say, like, make it for, like anybody, because there's some people out here that do some crazy fucking dunks. I'm sorry. The white dude with the hair that's dyed, but you do some of the most craziest shit I have ever fucking seen in my life. The dude everybody hates, Chris, be doing some crazy shit online when he be dunking the ball. So like, and I know there's many others. So I'm like, have them come out here and go for the 500. Like, you could take it back to the olden days where you had 8 contestants, because we would watch that. We would watch 8 professional dunkers that practice dunking every day for their YouTube channel or Instagram. They not finna miss. They finna come out here and do it as a performance. So you're gonna get the entertainment value, and they're gonna compete their ass off because they want this 500K. You know what I'm saying? So I like I think it's the evolution, but I think we can speed it up, NBA. Just go ahead and go with it. Like,
I like the idea of opening it up to like professional dunkers and G League folk. You will get a more of a better product. I think, like 100K. Like, you don't even have to do the 500, dog. Like, you could just do 75.
But no, like 500 is good, because that's something that they really.
Oh,
like.
yeah. That's life changing to some people, dog.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's life changing. That's life changing. But like, man, like, yeah, for 500K, motherfuckers will be jumping through fire hoops and shit trying to dunk this shit, dog. So, yeah, you know what? You right about this.
But you know what? Like, they would complete the dunk.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
They would, and we would look at it like, that motherfucker just jumped through the flaming hoop and did a 360 and dunked that bitch, get that nigga that money. Ooh. Yeah. Like, we would just be watching TV like, oh, people would start trying to.
Oh, yeah, you would definitely.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, I think it's something that they should really, like, consider doing. Like now, you gonna let a G League dude do it because he dunked better than everybody? Shit. Go find all of them.
Hey,
you
man,
think
look.
You can dunk? Come to the All-Star game.
Let us do your All-Star Weekend shit. NBA.
I swear, bro.
Yeah, just come to Sports Sushi and let us go ahead and write you out a
fund NBA.
itinerary.
Just fund us like $20 million.
Yeah, we only need about. We're not gonna use 5 of it, but
We gonna use, if you need us to, we can use 10.
Yeah.
We gonna throw the best party that y'all have ever seen in your life. In your life.
In your life.
In your life. Don't bring your wife. I think it's something that the NBA should really consider because the All-Star game is a party anyways. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it would just make it like shit, it's like a talent show. It really is. It just make it more of a talent show. Like call some rappers, like we use some of the memes. I would call Lil Baby, be like, yo, we need you to do a concert. Dirk, you come to the hoe, leave the guns at home. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying they should make a whole event of it instead of making it this bland ass Aaron Gordon, try it again. We're gonna have Dr. J judge you guys. Like that shit was good in 2002, my nigga. Like we're in 2023. We see all these motherfucking people online. Go grab their ass, tell them $500K for whoever can win the motherfucking dunk contest. We make the rules, show up in Utah, and let's get it popping.
Mm-hmm. I like that. I like it. I'm sorry. Is to me it makes perfect sense. And I'll watch a motherfucker jump through a fire hoop or try to jump over a line for a 360 windmill.
Could you imagine a nigga going between the legs twice, 360, dunking that hoe, and Ice Spice come out and start twerking? nigga, the world would lose their mind. Nigga, oh my god, like he would win.
What Ice Spice say? The nigga munch, whatever the fuck that means.
Like, hey, and they could play that in the background and have confetti.
Oh my god,
come out in sparklers.
Bro, she's the wackest rapper, dog.
Of course, but that's not why we like her.
Oh, for sure.
The next subject.
Yes.
I appreciate your bars, Icy.
Yeah.
I know. I wouldn't even call them bars. They're just lines, bro.
Hey. Oh, my Lord, man. Look.
Hey,
Hey, man. Shout out to Ice Spice, man. Look, man. Young lady, man. Do your thing. Get your monies.
Get your monies.
All right, so let's go over to the NCAA football. The college football hall.
A different example.
Yeah. He said he's an Ice Spice twerking.
All right, but no, hey. Fireworks.
Hey, he said, just listen to me. Hey.
I'm just trying to tell you.
All right, so the College Football Hall of Fame, the class of 2023 is set to be inducted. Headlining that class is Tim Tebow, Reggie Bush. I want to say Luke Kuechly, a couple coaches. Eric Berry.
I got you.
Eric.
Want me to take the Jim Perry?
Go ahead.
Oh. Eric Berry, Michael Bishop, Reggie Bush, Dwight Freeney, Robert Gallery.
I remember
Michael James, Derek Johnson, Bill Kolar, Luke Kuechly, Jeremy Macklin, Terrence Mathis, Bryant McKinney, Corey Moore, Michael Stonebreaker, Tim Tebow, Troy Vincent, Brian Westbrook, D'Angelo Williams, and the coaches list is Monty Cater, Paul Johnson, Roy Kramer, and Mark Richt. Go Dogs! I guess.
And he was towards later he was Miami coach, but shout out to Mark Richt.
He's the reason why Miami switched from Adidas Nike to Adidas, and they suck because ain't been shit since. Boy, take off them black Nikes. What do we say?
Yeah,
hey,
I'm gonna do it with these.
They still rough. The Hurricanes still rough, man.
They still in Adidas.
Yeah,
ain't been no football games playing in Adidas.
But shout out to Hurricane though. That's the homie.
Yeah, man.
Shout out to Dale. I love you. I know you hate every take I have because I just shit on but, and I don't know what it is. I ain't vibing with him right now. But hey.
But yes, man.
One day you'll be back.
Look, man. It's pretty star-studded class. I like it.
Michael James was a beast. I'm sorry, but those who saw him at Oregon know.
Yeah, it was dope.
Yeah, you know exactly what we're talking about. Michael James.
About Derek Johnson, he was the truth.
Oh yeah, Derek Johnson.
Jeremy Macklin, Missouri.
Jeremy Macklin was he was a monster.
He was.
He had that 9 on him.
Yeah.
Beast.
Mr. 9 route.
What was that first game against Illinois? They jumped off the season. Him and I think it was Rashard Mendenhall went fucking crazy. Like it was, look, I'm dating myself, but I believe that it was the same year. If y'all look it up,
I'll say who that was. Say Rashard Mendenhall. I said,
no, if you go look up, I can't. I think it was.
You had to jog the memory on that one.
I want to say it was 2008, his last year at Missouri. But the season opener, it was Missouri versus Illinois, and that was a fucking banger. I know y'all probably like, what the fuck about? Go look that shit up on YouTube, and if you don't know, ask your motherfucking uncle or your daddy. That shit was a banger.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry to tell you, I do not know who Michael Stonebreaker was, but it says he played in the 80s. I do not know who he was.
Yeah, I'm
His name
not.
is fire though.
Yeah,
Right?
Stonebreaker. Yeah, well, I mean, shit. Yeah, 88, 90.
Is Tim Tebow the GOAT?
Of
Man,
college?
I don't know,
Let's be honest,
dog.
bro. Let's touch this, bro, because I think he is, bro.
I'll
I
give
think
it to
Tim
him.
Tebow to go to college football, bro.
I give it to him.
Bro, the man won football games without being able to throw. He just
Yeah.
prayed.
Yeah.
Like real, like,
And lean on killers.
I know it's a joke, but he
Literally.
drug dealers and killers, and he just prayed. Like,
Yeah.
Tim, did you work on your throwing today? Nah, nigga, I
Nope.
just asked Jesus to make that go
It's
to
God
Percy.
It's
God
God.
to ball to Percy, because if it gets to Percy, we good. May the Pouncey twins protect me.
Yeah,
like-
they protect that.
Bro, they had
Block.
the best tight end ever. I
They
know
did.
we're
Yeah.
not supposed to talk about it, but he
Yeah.
was.
He was
He was
good
cold.
tight
If
end.
he don't do what he did, then Gronk, we don't even speak on Gronk that much. They started running
They
two
both were
tight
cold.
ends.
They both were cold.
They were, but
dog.
they started running two tight ends
Yeah.
because that nigga Gronk couldn't get on the field because Aaron Hernandez was just a demon. Like he was
He was
Man,
Travis
bro.
Kelce before Travis Kelce.
He was.
Yes, he
Right?
was.
But
Yes,
now
he
they're
was.
prepared. Like, and it's crazy to say because Travis Kelce was going crazy now. But imagine you people, if you can imagine Travis Kelce in a time where they had never seen Travis Kelce.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he was just running amok. Like it was crazy. Like he was. But Tim Tebow might be the GOAT. D'Angelo Williams was a beast at Memphis. We make sure to get him shout out. Luke Kuechly, of course.
Boston College, right?
Last but not least, well, I mean, okay, Eric Berry, because the last person's the best one on this list. So y'all know what I'm about to say. So Eric Berry, get your shout out. We give you your flowers. You was a beast. But no one on this list was better in college. No one on this list caused more hype in college. No one on this list made you get up out your seat more in college. No one in this list was there. Reggie Bush.
Him.
He might, and Tim Tebow might win that discussion because he wasn't good at quarterback and won games at quarterback. That's why
Yeah.
I say he's the GOAT.
Reggie Bush
Bush was the best running back we had seen in college up to that date. I mean, even I was an Adrian Peterson fan, but no.
He was unreal,
You can
bro.
make the argument with yards and stuff, but no. Reggie Bush.
Him and AP we've never seen that before.
But you know Sterling. When Reggie touched that ball, we all was like, he might
Oh, yeah.
score.
Every nigga wanted to be Reggie Bush.
Bro,
I mean, he had not only on the field, off the field, he was that dude. Like Reggie Bush was cold.
Give him his Heisman back. But yeah, I love the class. But
This
Reggie
nigga
Bush-
over here doing Wendy's commercials.
Yeah.
bro, and he's
The Reggie bag. Yeah, he is.
Yeah. Reggie Miller and Reggie Bush, those are some of the best fucking commercials. I promise. I can't wait till March Madness because Reggie
But
Miller
yes.
be killing the most.
All right, man. So we talked about the Hall of Fame class of 23. Let's get on a Hall of Famer. I'm as far as I'm concerned, he is a future Hall of Famer. Jim Harbaugh. At some point, he will find himself in the College Football Hall of Fame. I said it. Fight me if you don't like it, but I said it. Okay. But he will be back at Michigan, man. So we're going to go to our de facto Michigan guy, Sterling.
Hey. Listen, Harbaugh's back, man. So I know right now they're trying to work out a long-term deal. Honestly, you know, dude's got to stop flirting with the NFL. Like, you either going to stay at Michigan or you got to go. Because you're killing recruiting, you're killing momentum. But in the meantime, I am happy that he's coming back. I do want to see him win some bowl games. So that is
Yeah.
it's 1-6 in bowl games.
I don't think it's him, though.
Yeah.
It's
look,
him. It's
No,
him.
it's not. You can't. I mean,
1-6
Okay.
Bro,
He made the playoffs. He made the playoffs last 2 years.
You said bowl game.
in the bowl game. In the
So,
bowl game. That's
okay.
all I'm saying. Win a bowl game, bro. That's all.
I was like, I feel you, but like, I'm not even trying to hate like on the Big Ten. as a whole.
Let me
But,
tell you,
like,
dog. Let me tell you
Big
about
Ten-
old Jimbo. Let me tell you about Jimbo. Listen, it is. The fact of the matter is, it's like he's been in Michigan for like what 7 years now, and it's like he was extremely trendy at first, and he was trying to do, a high up tempo offense and so forth, and it just wasn't working. And so he was very rigid. Like he didn't want to change and conform to today's college football. And now, the past few years when they were sucking, like Michigan was, Michigan's really bad. The COVID year, they were like 2-4. That's when kind of things kind of changed. He kind of just he got a better coaching staff around him. He fired the defensive coordinator, but he's kind of evolving, and it's taken him a while. The recruiting has been good. It's not as good as Ohio State, but they've had a few top 10 classes. And he's a guy that was lauded for being a quarterback's guru, but JJ McCarthy's the best quarterback he's had. Really, you can't really name, Shea Patterson, Joe Milton. You really can't name a quarterback before that. Jake Rudock. He just is now.
Robinson.
Well, Harbaugh didn't coach him. But I love Denard though. But Denard's on the coaching staff.
When you say Michigan quarterbacks, I got to bring up Denard.
Hey, Shoelace was dope, man. Shoelace was dope.
Was out there.
But now,
was losing
they were trapped. They were trash, bro. But now Harbaugh's he's hit his stride, man. So I think his best years are ahead of him. Let me tell you something. That Michigan squad that lost to TCU, them boys coming back.
Yeah.
Blake Corum and Zach Zenter, all them dudes outside of Mike Morris and Jamon Green. All them dudes coming back. They got 8 starters coming back on offense, 8 or 9 starters on defense. They're gonna be good next year.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that why not coaching college? I mean, it's you have all the control.
Right.
I just think that Michigan, in order to compete, Michigan's going to have to build so much momentum that they're able to take some of the players that are going to Ohio State. Because Ohio State's the only Big Ten school that is able to gather the talent that they need to have the speed and quickness to keep up. I think that you could get a front seven that could contend with anybody in the Big Ten. But I think that when it comes to when it comes to quarterback, they need to come down here. They need to go to California. They need to go find them a quarterback out here to come up there. However they do so, they need to do it. They need to go to Florida and start finding themselves some receivers, DBs. Here, I think that's Michigan's main problem. I know kids like from those places may go, but I have to do a little bit more research. But I believe most of their talent does come from the best players in Michigan and some of the best players on like the offensive line. They do get running backs. Now, I don't believe that you need a burner. We'll talk about that in the next segment, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to running backs. But I do believe that they need some speed that makes you look out on paper like, holy shit. To me, there's no reason why they shouldn't be able to get a guy of Marvin Harrison Jr.'s caliber to come play at Michigan. They
got speed. The thing with Michigan is I think they're better Ohio State at developing talent. So Ohio State gets a lot of 4 and 5 star recruits, right? Yeah. Michigan, they'll have an occasional 5-star recruit, but it's 3 and 4 star recruits that they're getting and developing and moving so forth.
But that's what I think needs to change.
Yeah, they do need to be more aggressive.
Because that shows you how good of a coaching job he's doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're coaching guys up, which I believe that's what you have to do. You got to coach guys up. But I believe Michigan needs to enter the recruiting limelight. Like, yo, come 5 stars, come here.
Yeah.
We need the we need the Woodsons back. We need the Charles Woodsons to come back. We need the Braylon Edwards to come out here. You know what I'm saying? We need those types of players to come back out here, like that just come out on the field and oh, they got Harbaugh, but even if they didn't have Harbaugh, there's nothing I can do. Like, we'll talk about some of these backs that are at these other schools.
Yes, sir.
You say that about them. You know what I'm saying? Like, you say, like, yo, there's nothing you can do about this guy. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's just that's the one thing that they're missing. And I do think they have some speed, but watching what happened to Cornelius Johnson in the game against TCU, not that he got stopped at all, but the way that if you go watch him in Big Ten games, he runs away from everybody. You know what I'm saying? He was running away from yards, 10, 15. He was getting away from everybody. In the game against TCU, they were keeping up with him. That's not to say that he's slow. That's just to say that Michigan, you need to get a little bit faster.
Yeah, they do. They needed a number 2 wide receiver. Cornelius Johnson, from a route running perspective, he's a pretty good route runner, man.
He's nice.
Yeah.
He's nice.
I just feel like, the problem, man, watching Michigan, they relied too much on Blake Corum, and they didn't give the reins to J.J. McCarthy soon enough. It was too much, Corum was 30 carries a game, bro. And they got to change that this coming season. They talked about Donovan Edwards. He did an interview.
Like
yeah, he did an interview.
And I think he's better than both guys. And when I say both, you'll know the other guy I'm talking about because we'll talk about him in a second. And Blake Corum's nice, but I think Donovan Edwards has enough talent to be better than both.
Yeah, he definitely does because he's the do-it-all back. But they're talking about splitting carries for those two this coming season. But Donovan Edwards going to be playing in the slot as a slot receiver a little more this year. So they were talking about that. That's the way he should. He should be doing that, man. The dude's really, really talented. But I'm excited about Michigan. I hope that they got a 5-star quarterback that they're talking to, Jaden Davis, that might commit here soon for 2024. Nice. So they got some good things happening, man. I'll be on it.
You know why Donovan's playing? Donovan Edwards is going to play some receiver. It's because what I just said, like, Harbaugh is looking at it like, I got to get all my athletes on the field.
About time, bro, because he did not think that way for
no matter.
Yeah,
because
dude.
If you think about it, like, if you're him, you know your scheme is better than everybody else's. You know for a fact, I can coach this team better to win the game. I can do it. But when he goes out there and you look at him play, you can literally look at him coaching, and you can see it in his face, like, I don't have the guys. Like yeah. I don't like, and it's not, and he's good at coach because he doesn't look at his guys like y'all aren't good enough. He's looking like, I need me some 5 stars in here. Like if Jim Harbaugh had the same recruiting class that Jimbo Fisher had at Texas A&M, they might have beat Georgia. I mean, they would have probably beat TCU for sure.
They should have beat TCU.
If they would have show beat them, but they would have been in that game against Georgia and competing.
Yeah, like, they would have. I'm glad you said that because as a Michigan man, I'd be a homer to say that, but I mean, they would have given a better game. But let me tell you what Harbaugh's downfall is. It's situational game management. I think he suffers there, and I think he is so rigid in terms of like he needs to grow into a modern day trends in college football. He's so traditional, man. And he's gotten better, but I think he needs to end game. I think he could do better. Like the whole timeout thing we talked about here on Sports Sushi. Like, why didn't you call a timeout? Like, he's had a few of those mishaps in games that he needs to improve on. So I'm a fan of it. I just hope that they can get him to a long-term deal. If not, give me somebody who's going to be here for a long time, man.
I agree, but I also would say if he doesn't, like, what you going to do, man? He's shown that even if the NFL does talk to me, I'm still going to coach my ass off next year. Like, I'm still going to coach my ass off. Hey, I'm going to go to the bar.
For sure.
I'm going to drink. They going to flirt with me. I'm going to come back home. Make it happen.
He said, I'm going to be back home. He said, I'm just going to, he said, I'm just going to. Yeah, I'm just gonna tease him a little bit.
Yeah, I ain't gonna do nothing but smile at him.
Hey,
hey, baby, I love you.
Hey, it wasn't an Oklahoma situation, but
no, Lincoln left our ass.
Yeah,
but you know what I'm saying? Like,
in the middle of the night,
he bet sunshine. He bet sunshine. He said, "Hey,
even though
tell the kids I ain't coming back no more."
Sunshine and love in LA.
Yeah,
but
boy, that nigga Lincoln went to Cali and was like, babe, I'm gonna need you to pack all the shit because I can't come back. I'm gonna need you. You got the account number. Pack all our shit and get your ass out here real quick.
His address, send everything.
I can't come back.
He said,
I'm not.
I can't step foot in Oklahoma no more.
I was upset at first, but then after seeing USC lose the exact way that Oklahoma.
Oh yes, it was glorious.
I said, you know what? Yes, I stood on top of that fire and yelled, "Ha!" But I also said, Oklahoma's probably going to be better for it.
Hey, don't let them off the hook. That needs to happen for the next 2 to 3 years for you to feel okay again, Russ.
Yeah. Oh, no, I already said, anybody that knows me knows my dream is I pray that Oklahoma can get good enough again to go undefeated so that USC can go undefeated and we can play them. That's all I want. And while Caleb is there, I don't know if I want to play Caleb. Actually, Caleb, you can leave.
All right, we
After
gotta have to
Caleb
move around.
graduates and goes, then
All right, we need to go ahead and jump over to the next segment. We got our draft spotlight here for the running backs here.
Yes.
So yeah, we've been alluding to it, been tipping toe around it, but here it is, motherfuckers. Draft spotlight for running backs, bitch. Surprise, motherfucker. So if you are just now tuned in, and you haven't been tuned into the past two or three episodes, my boy Russ puts together a very killer system to grade these draft prospects. And if you haven't been heard, our boy Sterling Furlow is a official Reese's Bowl corresponding motherfucking coverage guy. Like, he's covering the shit. Like, my nigga's official, like a referee in the whistle, bitch. Okay,
he in that bitch.
He in that hoe. All right, so watch your hoe.
Shooting the plays, letting us know how they play.
Exactly. So you know what I'm saying. This is his arena, and we are going to go ahead and get into that right now. All right. So Russ, you want to go ahead and catch our listeners up on how the rating system works?
Of course. So, you know what I'm saying, as always, you know what I'm saying, we went over this last time, and I'll go over it again, no problem. So I have what I call the grading system. I do it there in college. They're coming out, so I have a GPA system that I have put together with various stats that I use for the grades. They all hold the same weight, but basically it spits out a GPA, spits out a grade, an average form, grade point average form, and a score form. So to start off, me and Sterling we went over, and I saw his 5, my 5. We both had the same 5 except for 2 individuals, which we'll get into, and we may talk about a little bit. But so let me go ahead and see the maximum score anybody could get, total points possible, is 1452. You will notice that some guys do score over that. So do y'all want to go 1 through 5, 5 through 1?
I like to go.
Yeah, go 5 through 1.
Yeah, 5 through 1.
Okay, so I'm gonna start at the bottom, and with 5 we got to do 2 people because me and Sterling had 2 different guys as our 5th. The other 4, I believe we had all the same. So as a courtesy, I'm gonna go Sterling's first. So Sterling had Tank Bigsby as his number 5 running back in the draft pool. His average was 92. He had 1,336 points, A minus, and he had 3.6 GPA. You know what I'm saying? So he graded out very well. I'll let Sterling. I love the kid's game. His shiftiness. Sometimes I think he boogies a little too much. But go ahead, Sterling. Tell him about your boy.
Yeah, no, Tank Bigsby. He 970 rushing yards, 10 touchdowns, 180 yards receiving. But one of the things that stands out when you watch Tank Bigsby is he's a north to south runner. His feet, he has really good feet. They're constantly moving. One of the common themes that you're going to see with these top 5 guys that we're going to talk about, you're going to hear me say a lot, it's kind of a buzzword, is contact balance. He's a guy that has really good contact balance. I think he displays really good vision. He can find cutback lanes, and when he gets in the mud, and when the mud in the scouting world, when they talk about the mud, it's like when you get to the line of scrimmage, he can use his ability and vision to set up defenders at the second level. He's a guy that can use proper angles and such like that. He's a horizontal. He can cut in space, and he can string them together. Force multiple tackles. That's one of the things that you're going to like about Tank Bigsby. And he can read the defensive line when it comes to leverage. So he can kind of put himself in positions to gain an extra 2 to 3, 4 yards or even take it to the house. I would say, scheme versatility is one of the things that's really good with him. You can line him up as a receiver. That's another common thing you're going to see with these top 5 guys. 3 of these guys can definitely play receiver. And he has a knack for finding the end zone, even at Auburn. Auburn was not a very good football team this year, but Tank found a way to get it done. And he has the size that you want in a running back. So I would say areas he probably should improve on is consistency. I don't feel like he's the most consistent back. He has good speed, but he doesn't have great speed, right? But he's hard to tackle. And then, he shows good hands, but he still has limited route and catching experience. But he is scheme versatile. So those are things that he's going to have to improve at the next level. So those are some overarching, this is a guy, he's 6 foot. Like I said, he's got the size, 215 pounds. He'll probably run like a 4.4, 4.5 probably is what he'll run in a pro day or a combine.
Does he remind you of Cook in Minnesota?
You know what?
Not the speed. He doesn't have that breakaway speed, but everything else like
similar profile. What I like about Dalvin Cook is his lower body. Like he's very thick in his lower body. Tank is, I think he's a different build, but they're very similar. I like. What separates those two is that, like you mentioned, speed at the third level, right? He's very fast at throw. I don't think that Tank is on that level at all. So I think he's a serviceable back. He's a serviceable back for sure.
On this list has got that kind of we'll get
to that. We're gonna get to that. I'm gonna tell you about a guy who has that kind of speed.
I know his name. He's played for A&M. You got another one?
I'm not talking about a chain. I ain't talking about them in a chain. Jameer Gibbs is that guy with he got them jets. Jameer got them jets, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
All right.
He's
like
a fast Alvin Kamara, but we'll get to that. All right, so we got Tank Bigsby. Now my fifth guy, he rated out. It is Zach Evans from Ole Miss. So he rated out at an 85.8. He had 1,247 points. That's a B, 3.0. Now me personally, when I watched him, and of course, like I had a homie that put me on him back when he was in high school, so I knew the whole story. Saw the year at TCU, but he averaged 7.7 yards at TCU. He averaged 6.5 yards a carry here at Ole Miss. So he switched to the SEC. He still averages a high number. I know that people say the things about the freshman, but I guarantee you, in 2 years, me and Sterling are going to probably be talking about that guy as being the best running back overall in his class and might be the best running back prospect in the past like 10 years because that he's nice. He's nice. Super nice. But no, angry runner. I look at Zach Evans. I look at an every down back. I think that he's a back that can do everything that's needed at the next level in the NFL. He's strong enough to run between the tackles. He's fast enough to run from outside of them. Again, I say angry runner. When he runs the ball, you can see that when you come to tackle him, you know that you're going to be in for one. And he can also he's shifty. He can shift and move. He's not as shifty as Tank, but he's shifty enough. Like Tank's got another level of it. But I do think Zach Evans has that breakaway ability that Tank may lack. I do think that. Now, I don't know if a 40 time will represent that, but when watching Zach Evans runs, he does look like a person that runs, the phrase, he runs like people are chasing him. And the power to me in his build, the power that he packs in his build is unreal. He runs through people as if he's a Jerome Bettis size guy. But he's you've seen him, Sterling. He looks like he's a more slender build. He breaks tackles. What's that phrase you use? I love that phrase.
Which one? Contact balance.
Contact balance. Yes, I love that. That's why my nigga's on top. That's why he's on his way. Like, that's why he needs to be the very contact balance. No, because he has that. A lot of that. I think he's fast enough. Of course, none of these guys, in my opinion, are true blazers like an A-Chain would be, but he's fast enough. I do think he can catch the ball, but I think he's more of an old school, like handed off type back. I think he serves his purpose best by, under center. You know what I'm saying? Single back. I like him in single back, shotgun too. But I think he's more of an old fashioned, give me 35 carries, let me see what I do. I do believe he has the ability to catch the ball, but I think he's going to be more of a workhorse.
He's got limited production there, but the overarching thing when you watch tape of Zach Evans is his explosiveness and acceleration. He does a really good job there. This is a guy that can just flip field position all day, every day. He runs with, like you mentioned, he does run with some good physicality. He does. Yeah, he doesn't have the production in the pass game that we would like, but they didn't ask him to do it. And that's one of the things that, like, as we get into the draft season, you're gonna hear people say, well, this guy, what he can and cannot do. Just because you didn't see it doesn't mean he can't do it. You know what I'm saying? So I think he shows good hands when he gets those opportunities, but they didn't ask him to do that much. So, but he does bring big game, big playability. That's his calling card. But pass protection, I think his football IQ needs to improve. That's one of the levels where at the next level he's that's one of the things we saw with James Cook coming in. He's got to be able to pick up and read blitzes when they're coming. He doesn't do a really good job of that. And he's scheme specific, so you're gonna use him more in zone run schemes. And if you want a comparison running style wise, look for a guy like Le'Veon Bell. Very patient when he gets to the line of scrimmage to find the holes. So I'm not going to say he is Le'Veon Bell, but that aspect of Le'Veon's game went very patient. Very patient when he gets to the line of scrimmage. So that's one of the things I think that I really like about him.
Yeah, I like you said, the explosiveness. I think his calling card, because he has a lot to work on. I think we both agree, but his physical abilities and his explosiveness alone let you know, like, we can hand this guy off and he can break for 30, 40 yards. Like, if we set it up, he'll take it. But he does have issues, which I think all young running backs will have coming in is, with blocking and handling those type of schemes, because it is the NFL. Like, they get into that quarterback one way or another. So, but I like both of them. Like, I remember when you posted it, I was like, Tank's a good one, because I like watching Tank run, and I just like.
I knew you were gonna put Zach Evans in there because we talked about him prior to the college football season. That you really like him. He's a really good back though, for sure.
He actually, I'm happy, because most of the time when your homie tells you about a guy, like, most of the time you're like, he's all right. You know what I'm saying? But, like, he's one that I watched and I was like, yeah, like, I could see him being and Tank too. I can see them being guys that are fifth on this. And there's a couple guys. There's a guy at Syracuse, I believe, could be a star in the NFL. But
Sean Tucker.
Like, oh my God, that motherfucker right there. Is
he's good.
Back. But no, I think both these guys could be guys that are lower on our list and could be really real stars at the next level. They just have some things to work on that could just solidify them. But I like both of them. I can't hate on Tank. I like them.
All right.
So, number 4, we got Zach Charbonnet. Of course, former Michigan running back. Now he played for UCLA. He tested off the charts. Fucking crazy. He's got 124.6% average, 1,810 points, A+, of course, 4.0 across the board. I think most of the things that did it for him, he had 1,359 rushing yards, bro. I'm gonna say it, like, I know people gonna say, Russell, you give lofty expectations and comparisons, but when watching him and watching a lot of his tape, like, he reminded me a lot of Marshawn Lynch. Like, I like his style, maybe not his build. When I talk about these players, I'm talking about their style. They can build, but he's not the fastest. He's got agility out this room, and he searches for contact. So, or I should say, he's more agile than you would expect him to be, because he's always searching for contact. So when you do get in the open field and he decides to put a move on you, he catches you off guard because you're expecting him to go full speed, full force ahead. Now, I do think he's lacking in speed, a lot, because if you watch his highlights, my God, man, just run. Because he'd make a move and you'd look at him and you'd say, like, why aren't you scoring? And so I as for running backs are concerned, he's slow.
Yeah.
And he's a bowling ball. And Marshawn Lynch was not the fastest. So when you break, and
Marshawn had 4.4 speed though.
He did. But I'm talking towards the end though, he was more like, I'm just gonna knock every motherfucker out.
For sure.
And then there's not gonna be nobody to tackle me. And so that's what I see a lot in Charbonnet. So I really like his running style. To me, on this list, is most NFL ready. Like, I think he's ready to take the ball in between the tackles and go get 3 to 4 rough yards over and over and over again. Now, will he last more than 3 years? I don't know, but I think he's ready to go to a team with an offensive line and show out.
Yeah, if you had to do a comp for him, I would say Sean Alexander of the
That's a good one.
Seahawks.
That's a good one.
Both of these guys are they run tall. They
Yeah.
even though they are bigger backs, but they don't run with that low center of gravity. Zach Charbonnet he's a build to speed kind of player. What that means is, he's a one cut back north and south, but like it takes him a minute to get going. He's not, yeah,
Bro.
he's not fast, but this is a guy that I think he probably has the best contact balance of any back in this draft. So he's going to get you there. I think he's very powerful with his legs and lower body. This is a guy that's going to stiff arm you. He's not a guy, the problem with him is he's not very versatile. So you're not going to really use him in the pass game. Not to say he can't do it, but that's just not his thing. So I think he's best in a system where there's two backs. So like if you want to send him to like a place like the Bills where you got, Zach Charbonnet and James Cook, to kind of complement each other. He's more of a power back than anything. But his lower body is really, really strong. He's one of those dudes that has one of them thick thighs and like Saquon Barkley legs kind of thing. So I think there's a lot to like about him. I still think he's probably a third round pick, fourth round pick.
Another good kind of comp to him. Because
what's
another
that?
guy that was very agile, but he's slow. Marion Barber.
Yeah, that's probably a better
ball.
comp.
Like he literally is just a bowling ball, but he's so hard to get down, but he's not fast.
But Zach definitely has really good vision. That's something that he can set up. He can set up blockers and defenders at the second level. Yeah. So he really does a good job of that.
Yeah, if y'all catch the Sports Sushi IG where I posted a reel on there, you'll see his highlight where you'll see all of this in one play.
Mm-hmm.
Like you'll look at him and he shakes people and you're like, why isn't he scoring? And it's because he's not fast, but he'll shake another person, truck a person, stiff arm a person, and he'll rumble forward for like another four. And he makes you feel, and I like this as far as pro running back. Call me old fashioned, but I like my running backs to make you feel every time they touch the ball. So like even if we get 2 yards, 3 yards, hell, we get 1 yard, they're gonna know like, damn, he came head first, head down, shoulder down, forward, and tried to truck everybody. You're gonna work to tackle him every time. Like every single time he plays, he's not going down unless you put him down. So he's just slow. I like him though.
All right, but who we got for number 3?
Number 3, we have Kenny McIntosh, running back from Georgia. This might surprise some people because if you see his tape, he looks like probably he looks like an NFL back the way he can run routes and catch. But of course, he scored, and I did have receptions as a part of the criteria for people that just want to wonder. But he scored a 79.9, 1160 C plus 2.33. He did have the lowest score out of everybody. I think a lot of it probably had to do with he only had 150 attempts this year. I think Zach Evans is the only one with less. We're talking about a lot of guys on this list had, we had like Zach Charbonnet, for instance, had 195. We had 179 for Tank Bigsby. So he did have a lot of attempts. He did have 829 yards, 10 TDs. He averaged 5.6 a carry. I like him, but like I said, Sterling, to me, when I was watching his tape, I was like, they're throwing this kid the ball.
I like that you mentioned that.
I noticed that out of all these guys, and he's not my favorite, but if I'm an NFL team, he's the most ready to play NFL running back style right now because he runs routes like a wide receiver.
Yeah.
He's used to going out and catching a lot of balls as a wide receiver. And so like I think he had 43 receptions this year.
Mm-hmm.
And 43. You know what I'm saying? This is on top of the carry. That's why his carries were a little bit lower than most in yards. So I don't know. I think he's got good enough speed. He's another guy that gets walked down a lot in his film. Like he'll make a couple guys miss, and then he'll like look like he's breaking, and then someone will grab him from behind and get him. But I'm not a person that's going to take too much away from you from that, because speed is God given. So only certain people can just break away like that, Mr. Gibbs. But yeah, I like it though. I mean, I think he belongs number 3. I think even though he scored lowest, I think he's most ready to just insert into a pass heavy offense, and get it done.
So when I evaluate him, the word that comes to my mind is methodical. He's a very methodical back. Like
Yeah.
he has natural ability. The way he cuts with he's very smooth runner. This is a guy that can line up out wide. He can line up in a slot. This is a guy that I don't think his football IQ schematically is high yet, but he does. I just think he does a lot of things just out of instinct. Like he's just solid.
Give him the ball.
Yeah, I
He's one
think
of those type of guys.
he definitely has quick feet. I think he probably has some of the softest hands you're going to find in a running back in this class. When you talk about height, weight, and speed or build, I think he look no further than him. And this is a guy, when we talk about Georgia running backs, yeah, he is. When we talk about Georgia running backs, we're talking about this is a guy. He's a senior, so he'll be at the Senior Bowl. So if I get a chance to talk to him, I'm definitely going to. But when you play behind James Cook and Zamir White, these Georgia running backs, man, they platoon these guys, right? They used him a lot as a chess piece to kind of see what the defense is doing, whether a man is zone coverage, and so he's a very talented dual threat back. I think he's another guy that probably is a running back 2 or running back 3 that you want to bring in. So a team that has a good running back, or you want 2 B+ running backs, I think he's going to be that guy.
He's a guy that one thing I noticed watching his film is, like, if you put anything other than a DB on him, he's going to destroy that man.
Absolutely.
No one in the front 7 can guard
Yep.
him. I saw so many times I saw him flare out, or I saw him go in motion, and all they did was just get him. All you saw was a linebacker, and the linebacker stood no chance, none. And so, like, that's one reason why I think he's the guy that I believe, like, as an NFL team, that if you throw the ball a lot, I know these next 2 guys are just uber talented, but nah, like Kenny's got a lot of fucking game, and he's one guy that you have to look for on the field. Find out where he is and make sure that he doesn't embarrass you after the ball's hyped.
Yeah,
He's nice. For real.
You want to see him play with a better pad level. Again, he's 6'1", so he plays a little high, kind of like Zach Charbonnet.
He runs like this.
Yeah,
which is why he gets caught. But that's
but those are things that could be fixed. I think again, when you look at these Georgia running backs, they don't have a lot of wear and tear, man. So.
Yeah.
As you guys are saying with James Cook, it's taking him 3/4 of a year to get going. But man, like the Bills, and I'm not just saying this because I'm a Bills fan, but the Bills really found themselves a really good back. What James Cook is able to do, I hope they unleash him soon. But I like his game. But there's 2 guys on this list that I like way more than anybody else.
All right, so the first is gonna be number 2 is Jamar Gibbs. Jameer, my bad. Is it Jameer?
Jameer.
See, y'all got me. I be getting every name. You finally got me. But Jameer Gibbs, Bama running back, averaged 89.6, 1,300 was his score. He got a B+, 3.333 if you do the math right. Now, he is another one. He had 151 attempts. He had 926 yards, 7 TDs, 6.1 yards to carry. He averaged 77 yards, a little bit over 77 yards per game. Had a longest run of 76. Yeah, I'm giving a little bit more love because they're the top 2. Had a longest run of 76 yards. Receptions, he had 44. So we just talked about the last guy having 43. He had 44. And, of course, he played for Bama, but all of us also know him as the guy that carried Georgia Tech for 2.5 years. So you can go ahead. I love the kid. I love the kid. I think he's Alvin Kamara with a little bit more speed. But I'll let you elaborate, what I'm saying, on what you saw.
Yeah, no, he's a 5'11". He's probably 210 pounds. This dude has great vision. He has the instincts to feel pressure when being pressed at the line of scrimmage. When he finds the opening in the defense, he doesn't hesitate. He's gone. His acceleration is unreal. This is a guy that when he hits the hole, he could string together, 2 or 3 moves in an instant, right? To set guys up. I think when he works to the second level of defense, he can create missed tackles, making guys miss by using elusiveness, speed, and burst. He's a slashing back, and I think one of the things that makes him stand out so much is that he's a really good receiver out of the backfield. This is another guy, like we talked about, that you can line him up in the backfield, you can line him up out wide or in the slot. He's a guy that his route running is nuanced and detailed, that he can make impact in the ball game. His size is probably something that's concerned. He's only at 200 pounds, maybe. We'll see. I think this is a guy that's going to run in a 4.3s. So he's got if you want a guy that can go, this is your guy that can go. Alvin Kamara, but faster. I think Jahmyr Gibbs I don't think he's as good as Alvin Kamara in terms of contact balance and breaking tackles in the mud, but I think he's really good at it. So I think this is a guy he's a second round pick, hands down. He's going to go in the second round. I think he's scheme versatile, so you can put him in a zone run scheme, gap scheme. He's gonna, when you put him on the field, he has a patience. When he sees a hole, he gonna hit it and he's gone.
He did some stupid shit. I forget who it was against, but I've literally seen him stop at the point where the defensive line and offensive line meet. Stop. He sat there for a second, looked, and then bounced it outside. In the play that I chose for our video, he had a 72-yard run. You could see, like, everything that you just said, Sterling, was on display. You could see when he got the ball, his vision, he saw where he wanted to go. And one thing I love about him, and I hate toe dippers. Like, if you're running back, I don't know if y'all know what toe dippers are, but them dudes that don't decide which hole they gonna take. So I don't like toe dippers that get to the line and try to figure out where they're gonna go.
Zach Charbonnet.
I don't like that shit, and that's because that leads to loss of yards and a lot of other things. But you could tell in Gibbs, he saw where he wanted to go and he attacked it. And if you watched Alabama games this season, he did that even in runs he didn't break for touchdowns. He saw where he wanted to go and he attacked that hole, and he either made it or he didn't, or even or collapsed. But I like that in my running backs. I like that decision making, because I do not like it when they try to dance around too much. And even in the play where he stopped, you could see him making, like, he was like, all right, he stopped, he looked one way, and he was like, nah, I'm gonna take it outside. And once he decided to take it outside, he hits it as hard as he can. So I really like that about him. Like you said, he's very versatile. You can put him out at wide out just like Kenny. But unlike Kenny, when you watch Kenny McIntosh, you can see that Kenny's just better than the guys he's up against. When you look at Gibbs, he can route you up. Like, he can put you on skates. He knows what he's doing running routes out there. So, I think he deserves to be number 2, just because the number 1 guy has been the best, will be the best that we've seen since he stepped on the college field. And it pains me to say it, not because of who he is, but where he played. Bijan Robinson is number 1. He averages 144%. You know what I'm saying? Like, he had 145 basically, a score A+, 2,104 points. 4.0, of course. He had 258 attempts, you guys. Like, those out there listening, 258 attempts. The second most on this list is 195 with Charbonnet. So nobody else even touched 2. 1,580 yards, of course, that's the most. 18 TDs, the most. 6.1 yards per carry. Now listen to this: 131 yards per game. His output is crazy. Had a 78-yarder as his longest, and had 19 receptions because they were handing him the ball. Bijan Robinson is the complete package. He's got the speed. To me, he has. I've seen a lot of shifty players, but he reminds me a lot, his shiftiness, a lot of how Joe Mixon ran at Oklahoma. You can't tackle him in the open field. You can't do it. If you have a one-on-one, it's very, very hard. I haven't seen a guy like that with that type of miss me ability, like that, like in a phone booth type shit. If you don't know about Joe Mixon or DRD, like this is close in range phone booth. Like Bajan's going to make you miss a one-on-one tackle. I have full faith in that. He's got enough speed. Probably what, like 4.4.
Yeah, he'll probably run a 4.4.
But he does have in-game speed, so I love that.
Yeah.
One thing that I think he has over a lot of these guys is that in-game speed. So if you don't know what I mean by that, is if someone's chasing him, he's gonna run faster than that person. No matter if that person can run however fast they want, he's probably gonna outrun them. So I like that about him. I just worry about what is he gonna do in between the tackles at the next level. But he does have the ability to run routes. But he's kind of like Kenny. I didn't really see him. He can run routes, but I didn't really see him make me say, "Oh, yeah, he's just better than the guy in front of him." But you got it, Sterling.
Yeah, no, I think some of his lateral agility and explosiveness, it's really good, man. When we talk basketball, we talk about point guards or players not being rushed. Yeah. Right? Like he is a running back that's never rushed. Like he is going to stick to what he does best. He's going to stick with his technique, and he's elite at it. He's a guy that he can run through smaller defenders with ease. Again, lateral agility, kind of likened to LaShawn McCoy, if you will. And he has the plus level speed to outrun defenders. Like when he gets out to the second, third level, he's gone. I think as a receiver, I think he can really he gets it done as a receiver as well. He could play slot outside wide receiver, and I'm talking they're running routes with him 30 yards down the field, and dude's catching this shit. Like he is special. And I think he out of IQ of a running back, he probably has the highest IQ of running backs in this class. He plays with really good pad level, so he's going to lower his shoulder and get through arm tackles. Again, like you mentioned, he's probably one of the best, running backs that we've seen in the last 10 years. He does have a bit of an upright running style, but again, he can lower his pad level. I think,
But I think he runs. I think he runs like that because he knows his center of gravity.
Yeah.
If you because just watching him run, you're like he runs kind of high, but then when you see the moves he makes, it's like, oh, he knows how to get. His balance is insane.
Yeah, and his pass blocking ability is insane too. He's a really good pass blocking. So if you're a team that is needing a running back, I mean, he could potentially go in the first round because he's a guy that you can instantly put him in. He's going to pick up, what your offensive scheme and game plan, has for a running back. He's going to be able to do that and be able to pick up blitzes at the next level. So, but John Robinson he's going to be a household name more than he already is right now in college. But when he goes in the NFL, man, he's going to make a team happy. Listen, there's a lot of talk in the scouting community about taking running backs in the first round or not. He's a guy that definitely checks all the boxes that can warrant a first round selection.
Yeah, to the scouting community that has something against running backs in the first round, I just have to say, fuck you. You pick the best players because every team that has ever had a dope ass running back has been in the mix.
All right. All right, so let's go ahead and get on over to our next segment. It is our either or portion of the night. And ironically, we are talking about running backs here. So, Sports Plug Russ, my brother, what do you got for us today?
So I got one for the people, you know what I'm saying? I got an either order to make your brain boggle and your mind wander around. It's going to be sorry, I said Ed, not his daddy. The one and only Darius Sanders, Christian McCaffrey, or Joe Mixon. Now, I know a lot of y'all are probably gonna say, "What the hell? This is an easy one," you know what I'm saying? But I want you to pay attention, and I want you to go. Let me go ahead and get these real quick. I didn't have read it, but Joe Mixon and McCaffrey are pretty close in their stats. Where is? Let me see.
I already know my answer. I ain't even got to go ahead and even look at the
Well, y'all can go ahead
numbers.
and give me your answers.
All right, I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna tell you right now. A wise man once said, man, he said, when you make your pen pan, you make it strong and firm, and you bring it down with the force of God. I'm going with Joe Mixon. God damn it! You know what?
But hey, I like it though. I like it though.
I'm going with Joe Mixon, man. Look, let me tell you something, man.
I got the stats, so whenever y'all ready.
You know, go ahead, fire off them stats, Russ.
So as a career, we got Christian McCaffrey has played 75 games. Joe Mixon has played 80. Rushing attempts, we have 1,025 for Christian McCaffrey, been injured. 1,314 for Joe Mixon. Rushing yards, Christian McCaffrey has had 4,726. Joe Mixon 5,378. Rushing TDs, very close. Joe Mixon has had 40. Christian McCaffrey has had 38. First downs by rushing. Interesting stat. Christian McCaffrey has had 225. Joe Mixon has 282. Christian McCaffrey's longest run was 84 yards. Joe Mixon's longest run to this date is 51 yards. Yards per carry, we got Christian McCaffrey with 4.6 and Joe Mixon with 4.1. Rushing yards per game, we have Joe Mixon averaging out at 67.2 for his career and Christian McCaffrey at 63. And fumbles, Christian McCaffrey has 9. Joe Mixon has 6. I would take Joe, of course. Y'all know how I feel about Joe Mixon. I love the cat. Plus he went to Oklahoma. But I feel like Joe Mixon is one of the most underrated running backs that we've seen in a while. I don't think that he gets enough credit, and he's just as good as all these other cats. Now, I do know some people may talk about the breakaway ability of Christian McCaffrey, but I really don't care. My guy can run you to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, like with the stats, also, Christian McCaffrey was injured. I think was it last year? All last year?
All the time.
Yeah. So for those stats to kind of be close as they are, and he hadn't seen the field as much as Mixon is it kind of let you know. But hey, I've already made my choice, and I'm going with the Mix, man.
I got this year's stats too, in case you want them, Sterling, before you go. I got this year's too.
Yeah, I would take Christian McCaffrey, man. I just think he does everything really well. He gives you that game-breaking ability. How many white running backs do you get to see the ball out like this? I mean, this dude, Christian McCaffrey's special.
Rarity.
That's how a white man runs the ball.
Yeah, he's special, man. And I know, the thing about Christian McCaffrey is even, he's a Colorado guy. Saw him play in high school, but even at Stanford, like they ran him all the time. This dude has a lot of wear and tear on his body. As you're seeing, the injuries pop up in his pro career. But when you talk about, not only is he as good of a running back as Joe Mixon running the ball, but when you talk about receiving, like he is another wide receiver out there, and that can't be talked about enough. Like his ability to play in the slot, to run every route he can do. Christian McCaffrey's a more talented back. Joe Mixon might have more production, but Christian McCaffrey is, in my opinion, he's the better back.
Well, as far as this year, I'll go ahead and give Sterling his due. I got to pay respects. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to just let him get beaten in career stats. This year, he's played 3 more games. He's had over 34 more rushing attempts. He's got 1,139 yards compared to Joe Mixon's 814. He's got more rushing TDs, only one. It's 8-7. 59 first downs by rushing this year to 47 to Joe Mixon's longest run. 49. Joe's been 4 yards per carry, 4.7. So, and rushing yards per game is up to 67 this year. So, I mean, playing with San Francisco, a way better team helps.
For sure.
I wouldn't. Of course, these never are. I don't like Christian McCaffrey, but I do think that when the going gets tough and you need to give a guy the ball that can run out the game, I think one of these guys can do it, and I do think one of these guys can. And I think the guy that can run out the game is Joe Mixon. That's not to say Christian McCaffrey is just like poo cheese, but I don't think that he's a guy that you could just give the ball to in the fourth quarter and him run it out. And I do think that you can, and we've seen Joe Mixon do that. But that's why I would pick him. But I like my back to run in between the tackles. But there's no shade towards Christian McCaffrey. I will say this though, and a homie of mine, Ghost, fan of the show and homie of mine, did tell me over the weekend, like he was like, y'all realize that I should have done the, because he had to. He probably didn't, but he had to. Hits blunt. Did y'all realize that Christian McCaffrey is white Debo Samuel?
No, that whole offense is very versatile and interchangeable. You got
Yeah.
Debo, you got Christian, you got Usyk,
Brandon Ayuk.
yeah, Ayuk. You know, you got a lot of guys that could play a lot of different positions.
Was the Kyle Shanahan knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
does.
for sure, for
He
sure.
definitely does.
They pay him a lot of money.
They do.
He's just getting. I get the same type of guy. But I did. I was speaking. We talked about this when he got traded. Christian McCaffrey. I think all of us said like he's gonna take those 15, 20-yard runs and turn them into touchdowns and complete drives. So I see why anybody would pick up this. But those in the comments, well, while you hit that bell and while you hit that like and subscribe button, go ahead and let us know which running back you would have chose in this week's either.
Or all right, but I mean, look, you got Kyle Shanahan in San Francisco, and all these plethora of weapons, and they have what I like to call a high class problem at quarterback. You have three guys that can potentially start. One guy is your regulated backup in Garoppolo, but you have Brock Purdy who is playing awesome, who has the hot hand, and you have your former first overall pick on injured reserve in Trey Lance. And there's rumors that I don't really believe them, but let's just, for this particular segment, let's just welcome in these rumors and say that these things are a factor. Tom Brady might be in the mix to join the San Francisco 49ers. I don't buy it, but hey, just for this particular segment.
If he did, I wouldn't want
yeah.
it, but not because
so,
last week just
age and everything. So let's go ahead and dub the GM for a day and see how the Sports Sushi crew fix the San Francisco 49ers quarterback situation. So we'll go with Russ, starting off with Russ. So if you were the GM, Russell Johnson, GM of the San Francisco 49ers, how would you handle this quarterback situation?
First off, we burning the team to the ground because the Cowboys have died. No,
I'm
fucking with y'all. I ain't that bad. No, if I was GM for the 49ers, I would go ahead and I would actually, since Brock Purdy's playing this well and he's young, I would see what I could get on the market for Trey Lance. I would go ahead and let Brock Purdy. I would let Garoppolo go. I would find a way to, you know what I'm saying? Wait, didn't they sign? Did we sign him?
Yeah, they signed him to a backup.
So he's my backup. So
yeah.
Basically what I'm doing, so I misspoke. So he's my backup. So I'll keep Brock Purdy. That's the bottom line. But I'm gonna see what I can get from Trey Lance in the I guess you could say the trade pool. I don't know, the trade portal. I see what I could get for him. I see what
the trade block.
But I would definitely keep Brock Purdy at this point because at this point you've had years to try to develop something with Trey Lance. We know what you want to do. We know what we were trying to do, but that shit is not working, and we're winning with this other cat, and he can make all the throws. And projection wise, he's only going to get better. And I'm the GM. He's not going to cost us as much money. So we can continue to build a better team around him and get better around him. We can get another receiver besides Devo because this guy's only making. I bet he's making under fucking $500K.
Yeah.
So like, I would most definitely search for my options there. I do think that there would be teams out there that would look at Trey Lance and see that as a potential suit. You can see them as a potential suitor for him, but. Yeah, I'm most definitely. I'm rolling with the hot hand. I'm not gonna give up Brock Purdy. I'm not gonna go back in this love affair with Trey Lance. I'm gonna look at it as it is. Look, we have a quarterback that's winning games. He got us to the playoffs, albeit that, you know what I'm saying, we played a lot of lackluster teams. My coach being Kyle Shanahan, we see him draw it up. I'm gonna go ahead and try and see what I can get for Trey Lance. Unless someone offers me a king ransom for Brock Purdy, like if we win the Super Bowl or something. Like if the 49ers win the Super Bowl and someone's like, I'll give you, 3 first-round picks for Brock, go ahead.
Appreciate you, Brock.
Like what Jay-Z say, you said you made a make another hole. Like Yeah, at this point, Kyle Shanahan's like, I made one Jimmy Garoppolo, I can make another one, and then I can make another one after that. So I'm staying with him unless I get a king's ransom. But Trey, you looking like you gotta go.
All right, Sterling, what you got for me, dog?
So I'm keeping Trey Lance and Brock Purdy. I get rid of Garoppolo. We've seen what he's able to do. I feel like what Brock Purdy was 18 of 32, 300 some odd yards in his first playoff game. I think that's something to build upon. Now, I would definitely want to see what it's like in training camp between him and Trey Lance, because before Trey Lance was injured, a lot of us were talking like, yo, this kid can play. So, I think a lot of that scheme, but I think Trey Lance has a higher upside because he gives you an athletic profile that Brock Purdy does not have. So we got to also keep in mind that, the 49ers don't have, capital. They don't have a lot of picks, and they don't have a lot of cap space. So I'm gonna definitely go with a cost-effective move. I mean, we've seen Kyle Shanahan in this offense. When it comes to like skill position players in terms of running back, quarterback, they kind of find a way to ounce every get every ounce of potential out of you. So I'm definitely, again, with the playoffs, I'm gonna ride out Brock Purdy, but next year I'm definitely gonna have a quarterback competition in training camp between Brock Purdy and Trey Lance.
Here's why I don't do it. And y'all probably gonna be like, damn, Russ, you might need to be a GM one of these days.
Oh,
Because here's how I think about it, bro. So if I get what I can for Trey Lance with the talent that he has, right? I don't want there to be a competition between two young quarterbacks, because if I put Brock Purdy out there next year and he sucks, I'm drafting Caleb Williams.
of course you say that.
Is it not brilliant though? Is it because it's a win-win? Because
But with that roster, how are you gonna get in position to draft a Caleb Williams? That's the thing.
I said if they don't have a quarterback, they're gonna lose. They're only gonna win if San Francisco. I don't care who you are in the NFL. If you ain't got a quarterback, you ain't winning more than 4 games. I don't care who you are. Name a team. If you do not have a serviceable quarterback,
Well, look no further than the Jets.
Saints won 7.
I mean, but Andy Dalton's not an unserviceable.
Yeah.
He's not a guy that's gonna take you to the playoffs. Like if you don't have a guy that knows what he's doing just at the base, knows what he's doing, like you don't know that, Chris, because go look at the teams that they played. They played New Orleans. No offense, Boogie. They played New Orleans. They played Arizona. They played Seattle. They played a bunch of scrubs, bro. I think they played one good team, and they played one playoff team, and that was the Buccaneers. And them motherfuckers made the playoffs by default because they were kind of trash too. You know what I'm saying? And Boogie, you know this because you're in NFC South. All those teams were bad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so Brock Purdy's been doing very well, but he hasn't been challenged by a top team in his league. And so after this season, y'all know how the NFL is. The 49ers are going to have a more difficult schedule next year. And I do believe that when they play it, it's going to be either mildew or barbecue. Now, if I'm the GM, I'm hoping Brock go get that barbecue. But if you fuck up, fall over, and roll over and die, I want the next pick. The next pick I have is going to be Caleb. You know what I'm saying? And I think that as a GM, you got to set yourself up for, I'm going to pick a quarterback, but I'm going to make sure that if he sucks, he's going to blow it. You know what I'm saying? So, my quarterback is either going to be great or suck. I don't want a middle-of-the-road quarterback.
Yeah, well, they had Jimmy Garoppolo for a long time, and the problem is that their scheme is so good that a guy like Brock Purdy could come in and win you a playoff game. He's gonna win your 6, 7, 8 games, and then you're not gonna have any capital to get in the top 2.
I don't know though. I'm not saying that Brock Purdy, fuck you, man. I'm just saying literally, I don't know. I've watched the teams he played. They are bad. So I don't know. You know what I'm saying? We'll see this weekend. This will be the first quote unquote really good team he's played, and that's not because I'm a fan. When you look at it, Sterling, you know too. They haven't.
As I get too deep in it.
Yeah.
I get too deep in it.
But just like Sterling said, he's like, you look at me like, oh, Rose, you like the Cowboys, but I'm really saying go look at the last games they played, and I've told them to y'all because I looked it up last night. They literally played scrubs as far as the NFL hierarchy goes. They played teams.
Let's go ahead and segue into that. 'Cause, you go ahead and do that. No, keep going, Russ.
Oh,
No, I'm just saying.
well, yeah, but okay, so yeah, but that's why I love the Cowboys this week. You know what I'm saying? They don't play down the level of their competition, but going into this game, like, and I'll just keep it sweet. That's about it. About the love hate for the Dallas Cowboys. I love them last week and this week because they didn't play down the level of their competition. They went out there and took what I tell you last week, y'all. Go out there and take their shit, take their soul, take their heart, take the ball, and take the dub. And the Cowboys went and did that. I like to see it. So going on to the wild card recap.
Well, no, I was gonna say
I'm sorry.
You want to stick on the the divisional
That's
preview with the
divisional preview. So I that's the only thing I'm looking at because the 49ers have a great team, and yes, I'm a fan of the Dallas Cowboys, but there's nobody that can sit here and tell me after looking at the game. If you go look up the games that Brock Purdy started in and won, he won those games, but they played against some trash. As far as the hierarchy is concerned, they played against some struggling teams and some teams that weren't as good. And the one good team they played that made the playoffs was the Dolphins. And I mean, the Bucs were trash though, but the Dolphins had Mike McDaniels. And do not tell me that any coach that used to coach under a coach is fitting to beat that man his first year on the job. Because I know Kyle Shanahan told Brock Purdy, this is your first game, but do not worry about these niggas because we're going to beat Mike McDaniels because he was my assistant. So that's one of the people say, well, they beat the Dolphins. Like, the Dolphins and the Buccaneers were the two best teams that they played. And Seahawks after that. Arizona, trash. New Orleans this year, bad. Like Boogie just said, New Orleans played two quarterbacks, and one's a tight end / wide receiver / running back / special team expert because he almost blocked a punt against the Buccaneers. Like, the dude is so I just look at that as going into the divisional round, the Cowboys, you can talk about the rest and everything like that, but the physicality they showed and the fact that Brock Purdy is a rookie and he has not played a team like the Dallas Cowboys. And if he was playing the Philadelphia Eagles, I would say the same thing. He has not played a team that is this good. He has played teams that are NFL teams that ain't doing shit right now because they got their shit took in the playoffs. And some of them didn't even make it. And now he's going to play against a team that's better. And again, if he was playing against Philly, if he was playing against the Giants, I would say it. You about to play some real motherfucking man-eaters. Like, and they proved it last week. Tom Brady was throwing the ball because he was scared to get hit. We saw it. Like, these motherfuckers on my ass. And so, Brock, they are going to be on your ass. And so I'm going to see, are you that good? Now, he's very well capable. I watched him at Iowa State. I'm an Oklahoma fan, Big 12. I've seen more Brock Purdy than probably a lot of people have. He's coming. Everything that they said would happen in the Big 12 is coming to fruition right now because they were always picked to beat the Big 12 because he had that talent. Now that talent is showing through, but I want to see him because just like in the Big 12, that talent showed through the first couple weeks when they was able to beat the Scrubbity Scrubs and the people that were lesser and the team where his team was better. But what you gonna do when your team is equal? What are you going to do when your team is the same or someone's got some better parts? Like, I don't know. Like, what are you going to do when Michael Parsons is breathing down your neck? Are you going to throw it to Diggs? You might. So, I'm interested in seeing that. And I think the 49ers are going to have to prove that because that defense is nasty. But the defense, and I'm going to let Sterling go after this, and this is the truth about that defense. Their weakness is they have the best front seven. But that back four, it can be had. That back four can be had. It can be had. But that front seven is nasty. It's nasty. But go ahead, Sterling.
So that was inspirational, Russ.
Heartfelt, dog.
Dog, I really felt you trying to sell yourself on a dub here. I'm not saying the Cowboys can't do it. And you know what? I will say this. I will say that Dak Prescott played his best football at the right time this past week. I'm not taking nothing from him, but you do have to consider the opponent, and the Bucs aren't that good now. But Cowboys don't control who they play. However, there is some concern with just Dak Prescott and the fact that Brock Purdy is a rookie. I think that's to his benefit and to his detriment at the same time. The pressure's on Dak, and psychologically, I'm really interested to see because I think the Cowboys, on paper, should be favored to win the game, right? I mean, they have everything, but it's who's going to show up when they play this weekend. That's my concern, and it starts with Dak Prescott. I really love the fact that he really took command of the game. He did a really good job. He played within the system. Finally, I felt like your offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore, actually called a really good game. The defense was very sound.
Mike McCarthy called that shit.
Yeah, well, whoever called it did a damn good job. It was beautiful. They had some. They really called a good game. So I think this will be a stiffer competition just for the fact that San Francisco matches up very well with Dallas in terms of skill and skill position players. So I think all the pressure is on Dallas. You got a rookie in here who you don't know what you don't know, right? And he's going to rely on his playmakers and make plays. I think it's going to be a good game. I hope the Cowboys win because, fuck the 49ers all the way. But if I had to put money on, I'm picking the 49ers to win that game. Micah Parsons is awesome, but I just, look, man, it's got to be more than Micah Parsons to really, make an impact from the defensive line standpoint.
Dorrance Armstrong.
I know the names. I know the names. Again, consider the opponent. Tampa offensive line, it was reshuffled all 8 kind of ways. I'm just telling you.
No, you're right. But
you guys have a deficiency at left tackle with Jason Peters starting. You got Connor Williams or whatever that dude's name is playing fullback. What's his name? What was the dude that's playing fullback that is the offensive lineman? Whatever the hell his name is. But it's clever. I just think
it works.
Okay. Listen, you guys are going to have a big boy game this weekend.
We are.
And we know what happens with Dallas when it comes to big boy games.
So that's the thing that I think that everybody is expecting. And I think that Tampa Bay game, which I yelled about it last week, do not play down to the level of your competition. And that for the first time in a while, they didn't. And so I don't. Like, people tell me about how bad.
You're not concerned about that?
I'm not. I'm after, and that's
that they could do it 2 weeks in a row. You're not concerned?
I'm not.
Okay.
Because normally they wouldn't have done it 1 week in a row. That's I'm a Cowboy fan. And I'm honest. So that's their MO. They're not gonna do it. They're not finna do it. That's one thing the Cowboys are finna do. We're gonna have the hype train. There's gonna be a lot of yelling and screaming and all that type of shit. But we all know if the Cowboys ain't finna do it, they ain't finna do it. Point blank period, because that's why we fall off when we do, because they're not finna do it. But now, when you looked at that game, intensity wise, hitting, attention to detail, players where they needed to be, where they needed to be, where they're supposed to be. I will say Diggs probably had his worst game of the season, but we won by the most amount of points, and I think that may be because of the fact that Diggs was finally playing in the confines of the defensive system, and so he had to take what came with that. But I'm not going to act like the 49ers don't have something to worry about too. And I think that's the big thing that people are doing to the Cowboys because of our history, and that's fine. But as a fan that's watching them, y'all know me, bro. I don't come on here shouting for these niggas, man. I love my Cowboys, but y'all niggas done let me down a lot. What I saw last week was different. Like, y'all remember me saying last year when I was talking about the beginning of the season. Well, we didn't start till later, but last year at the beginning of the season, I would tell everybody I knew, I was like, yo, this team is business-like. And y'all even knew me towards the end of the season. I was like, this team is business-like. And now they've taken that next step of handling business. And I think that last week was a huge, huge, huge checkpoint for them. Because being able to go out there and not just if they would have went out there and beat the Buccaneers by 3, kicked the field goal, had an amazing play, and just won that game, I would be worried. Like what you just said. You ain't checking for that? I would be checking for it because I'm like, man, we barely beat them niggas. And you're right, Sterling. They was trash. I told y'all last week, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers made the playoffs by default. By default. They were not. If we could have if there was a committee, the Lions would have made this hoe. Because because the Buccaneers probably would have lost to the Lions in the head-up game. They trash unless they played and I'm wrong. But they were not a good team. They were just a bunch of names that we respected because they've won before. But I do think the same way that the same exact thing you said about San Francisco, like you got a ballet, they do too. They do too. Like Brock gonna have to worry about this shit coming at him. Like it's not finna be just like the last game was where you draw it up and it works. Like he's gonna have some adversity.
For sure.
And I will say this, he's gonna have some adversity he ain't seen. We've seen the adversity in Dallas. We know that they've beaten us. We know what to expect. Like, bro, like you've seen it. Like you're laughing, but it's true.
Oh man, I just it's tough. It's tough.
All right, so what do y'all think when y'all run up on KC? What are you gonna think?
Okay,
We got to get by the Bengals first.
Yeah.
So okay, but you seen the adversity.
Yeah. Let's not get ahead.
Nervous?
Let's not get ahead.
Yeah.
So the Bengals have the Bengals. The Bills have the Bengals. And the Bills are at home, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah,
they're the home team. They play Sunday and they are favored by 5.5 points. Buffalo is. We seen last week the Bengals kind of play a little bit more of a closer game than they should with a backup quarterback with the Ravens. Even though they did run the ball majority of the time, J.K. Dobbins is that guy. But do you think that a lot of these close games, because you had obviously if you haven't been paying attention, Trevor Lawrence is still undefeated on Saturday, upsetted the Chargers in a heroic fashion. But let's stick with the Bills and Bengals matchup. Obviously, this is the continuation of the game that didn't get completed. Yes, it should be a budding rivalry if it isn't already now. So Sterling, our Buffalo guy, what was your thoughts from last week and coming into this week?
I felt like Josh Allen, these guys, they pressed for the big play too much. Josh Allen, one of the things you love about him is he can make plays other quarterbacks can't. But one of the things that will drive you crazy is just the reluctancy to play within a structure and take what the defense gives you. Now the Dolphins, this is a divisional game and they're meant to be close. And, the Dolphins for the third straight time blitz the shit out of Josh Allen, these boys. And Josh Allen at times, he found answers. But I think because they pressed for the big play too much, they allowed this team to get back in, they allowed Miami to get back in the game. Josh Allen had 2 fumbles, right? One went out of bounds and another one was returned for a touchdown. He had two interceptions. One, but neither one of them were his fault, but there was still go on his record. So, I felt like the defense played well considering, but again, they're going to play a big boy team and the Bengals coming up this Sunday. Thankfully, it is in Buffalo. I feel like both teams have a few things to hang their hat on. I feel like the Bills have the more complete offense when you look at being able to pass and run the ball. But Joe Burrow is he's Joe Cool and he's smooth. And they have 2 game-breaking wide receivers that are going to give you, 3 game-breaking wide receivers that are going to give you fits on every play. The problem is this, though, on the offensive line, they got 3 starters out potentially for this game. That's not going to bode well. But on the flip side, when the Bills are faced with these kind of opportunities, they don't take advantage of them from a defensive line standpoint. They have the guys, but they just don't take advantage of these situations. So that could be a wash. So I think it's going to come down to who's playing better at quarterback. One of the things that I really enjoyed is the fact that, Tyler Huntley was able to run the ball as a quarterback. And I think, in the playoffs, I think Josh Allen does a really good job of running the ball. This is a team, the Bengals, they don't convert pressure to sacks very well. I think they're the 2nd or 3rd worst sack coverage rate in the league. So they're not going to sack Josh Allen that much. Josh Allen's going to have his lanes to run the ball. But I just think the Bills need to calm down and run the ball, not just from Josh Allen, but from their running backs. I think, James Cook has proven time and time again that this dude is ready for the main spotlight. So if you ask me who's going to win the game, I would tell you I have no clue. These are 2 really good teams. I feel like the Bengals have one of the best defensive minds in football. If you're looking from a football god's perspective, the fact that DeMar Hamlin will be on the sideline for this game, it's going to mean something. But And if you're a Bengals fan, you got to be pissed off that the game didn't get completed, and the Bills are a favorite coming into this game, and so there's I could look at both teams and pick and pull and cherry pick why each team will win. So that's probably all I'm gonna give you because I just don't know who's gonna win. So I'm just gonna enjoy the game.
When you started talking about DeMar Hamlin, I could hear John Legend off that new Metro in the background. Singing it.
Man, yeah. He gonna have them boys. He gonna have them boys jazz, man.
It's gonna be rocking. Me, I wanted to sit here and be like, evil genius, the Bengals. But I've been saying for the past like 3 weeks, the Bengals have won like 8-9 straight games, and at some point
they gotta lose.
You're gonna get got, and so I do think that they're on an amazing tear. But I think their streak is gonna end this weekend. I do think the Bills are gonna win. I think the Bills are gonna win because they need to win it. The Bills strike me as a team that has failed enough in these situations, and frankly, they strike me as a team that's failed enough in the playoffs. And so I've told you at the beginning of the season I expect the Bills to be in the Super Bowl. I do think that they'll win this game. I do agree with you, Sterling. I think that Josh Allen running the ball is going to play a big part in the game itself, because although the Bengals do not convert sacks that often, they do try to force bad throws. Now, I don't think that the Joe Burrow issue in the offensive line is going to be that big of an issue, because we saw him make the Super Bowl after getting sacked like 9 times. So I think Joe Burrow knows what to do when his offensive line is bad. I do think you have to watch out for Jamar Chase, but I just think that Buffalo has a team that seems to me like it is prepared. It is prepared to handle business. It's prepared to go where they need to go. I don't really fear too much for them. I think the Bengals are good, but winning 10 straight games in the NFL is hard, especially when that streak has to leak into the playoffs. So I just think this is a game that should be marked by 2 words, and that's handle business. And that's all the Bills need to do, and they really should handle business. There's no reason why they should lose this game.
All right. So we're going to go ahead and since the playoffs are pretty much set, we will get into the Sterling Power Rankings.
My bad. Before you go, Sterling. Los Angeles Chargers.
Oh.
I love your jerseys. And
did not tell y'all they were going to lose.
You did. Now let me finish. And after the Cowboys, some will tell you that you are my favorite team in the AFC. That is no more. Fuck what y'all is talking about right now. This is ridiculous. I am not even a fan anymore. I'm not gonna lie, I like the Chargers, y'all. I fuck with them, bro. And I was riding the whole time. I think Herbie Baby is the shit. And I want to ride, but I can't do it no more. Won't do it. Can't do it. What he said? What Singletary said?
Can't win with him. Won't win with him.
Nope. Won't
can't
do it.
Do
can't do it. Not gonna do it. Chargers have charged so many times. 27-0, was it?
Add the Vikings to that.
4 interceptions.
Kirk Cousins. All of us on this show knew Kirk Cousins was going to Kirk Cousins. They're going to take his chains. We're going to find out them chains was gold plated.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we're getting to Sterling's.
Some diamonds was made out. All right, so
let's get to Sterling's Power Rankings. Playoff Power Rankings.
No Chargers, no.
Yeah, yes, sir. All right, so there we go. So I got the New York Giants coming off a playoff appearance, and they get a dub against the Minnesota Vikings. Brian Dable again is showing why he is the man for New York. Isaiah Hodgins, former Buffalo Bill, having a really good game. They even pulled out the Statue of Liberty play. Russ, that should hurt you being an Oklahoma fan, Boise State. But I think their Cinderella story comes to an end this week. I think the Cinderella story comes to an end this week. But man, what a season for the Giants and Danny Dimes and these boys, Saquon Barkley balling out. Man, they've played a hell of a season. So I got them at number 8. Number 7, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, well, that's the Bucks. But we got the Jaguars. All right, same state. Listen, how in the hell? I'm happy they came back because the Chargers are trash, right? But
They are though.
you gotta listen, man. Let that be a lesson for you. You can't throw 4 interceptions in the half and expect to have the ball bounce your way. Luckily, they are playing against a team with a head coach that's not very good. Okay, Brandon Staley. I've been telling y'all this. He is not a very good head coach. But Jacksonville, you know what, man? It doesn't matter how you do it. It doesn't matter that you got it done. So Jacksonville is number 7. At number 6, we got the Philadelphia Eagles, who were on a bye, and no one gives a fuck. I hope they lose this weekend. Yes, there's a lot of hate for the Eagles. I just think they're paper champs, man. You're gonna have to really prove it to me. I think teams that get the first round bye to get a break. I think they may experience some rust in the first half, so they're really gonna have to be on their P's and Q's when they line up on Sunday. Next, I got the Dallas Cowboys. If you're a Cowboys hater or a fan, you can't deny that Dak Prescott probably had his best game of the season. What he did to engineer that offense, man, he kept them efficient. He made the plays. He checked the ball down when he was supposed to. He took the shots when he needed to. All the kudos go to Dak Prescott in that win. And for the record, the Cowboys lose, I'm gonna put that same pressure on Dak Prescott, because I feel like with the complements of weapons that he has and the defense that he has, there's really no reason why the Cowboys shouldn't represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. And I've been saying it all year. It all comes down to Dak Prescott. We're gonna see when they step up to the plate this weekend. I got the Bills here at number 4 this week, just because they played a sloppy game this past Sunday. I could point from the coaching to Josh Allen to the defense. The game shouldn't have been that close. Look, if you want to be a Super Bowl caliber team, you cannot make the mistakes that they made. They let Miami Dolphins team, even though it's a divisional opponent, let a Miami Dolphins team hang around with a third string quarterback. That should never happen. I don't care who you have at wide receiver, Jesus Christ, Moses, or fucking Mufasa. You shouldn't let them boys hang around. So Bills, I hope you really get it together and really make some hay this next week against the Bengals. Next, I'm going to have the San Francisco 49ers here. Man, look, tip of the hat to John Lynch, tip of the hat to Kyle Shanahan. Just that offense in general is just so smooth. Even though we can sit here and say that Geno Smith and the Seattle Seahawks, I mean, they really weren't a formidable opponent. A win is a win in the playoffs. Brock Purdy, for a rookie. Rookies typically don't fare well in their first outing as quarterback. Was 18-32, I believe, for 300 some odd yards and 3 touchdowns. Like, that is a winning formula. This San Francisco defense is still really good, and that front seven is dope. They're gonna have their hands full this week when they play the Cowboys. Next, we got the Kansas City Chiefs, who are on a bye. A lot of the talk in Kansas City is let's book our flights to Atlanta for the AFC Championship game. So they are really thinking that they're going to come in here and just blow the Jacksonville Jaguars out of the water. Like I've been telling you guys for weeks now, the Jacksonville Jaguars are very stout on the defensive line, and they have the athletes to match up with Kansas City. I'm not saying that Jacksonville's going to win, but I really do think it's going to be closer than a lot of people think. And last but not least, we have the Cincinnati Bengals. Again, they're the hottest team in football, the winners of 9 straight games. They got the best wide receiver trio in the league. Joe Burrow continues to make himself one of the upper echelon quarterbacks. The test this week will be against the Bills. How will they respond to having 3 offensive starters out on the offensive line? How will they respond? When we look at the Bengals the past 6, really all season, they kind of hit these offensive lows. So, you're facing the second best offense in the league in Josh Allen. Now, Josh Allen's going to have to play his ass off. But I think, the Bengals top to bottom, man, they're a really tough team to beat. And I feel like they're the number 1 team in the league right now.
All right. So we're going to go over and do our last segment of the night. It is
beat the number 1 team.
All right, we're going to do Sterling's play breakdown of the week. What you got for us, Sterling?
Yeah, so I actually got 2 plays for you guys. The first one here is what we have here is the Ravens versus the Bengals last week. And this is a test of what not to do if you're, quarterbacking. Like, offensive coordinator Greg Roman, you got to do better. And this is a third down play where Tyler Huntley had a fullback in the slot or in the flat, and he missed him. Okay, the second play they ran was kind of a halfback dive that got gobbled up, and then this is third down. Tyler Huntley is like 5'10". I mean, this dude is really small, and they got the ball right outside the one. Like, you can see that the Cincinnati Bengals, they know what's coming. Like, they know what you're doing. And watch this boneheaded mistake. And I understand what he's trying to do, but man, you have to protect the football at all costs. Look, not only that, it'd be one thing if this guy was 6'2", 6'3", 6'5", and had I don't know if you guys saw in the Jacksonville game what Trevor Lawrence did. He's 6'6", how he kind of extended. Well, Tyler Huntley said, "Hold my beer," and this is what kind of transpired on this play. You see here, man, they got a bunch formation. You're seeing that you got a tight end and a fullback right next to him, so you're thinking, all right, man, we're just gonna push you in. Well, he says, "No, hold my beer." What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna try to Jordan extend this shit, and watch this, man. Look at this. So not only does the offensive line not get enough push, the guys behind him don't get enough push, but he puts the ball in front of him in the hands of two Bengal defenders, and look what happens. They knock the ball down. Sam Hubbard gets it. And it's off to the races, man. Look, the game was tied. You were about to go up 7 points. All you had to do was punch it in from the 1 yard line, and they didn't call the right play. It's a really poor example of what not to do. Again, here you can see that the offensive line doesn't get much push. You got the strength of the Bengals defense is in the middle, and it's hilarious. Look at this, man. Look at this. And Mark Andrews is running for his life. I mean, it's just like, man, like, y'all just really gonna do that? I was so pissed watching this game because I really thought that they had an opportunity to win. So, listen, that's a litmus test of what not to do. And they definitely, and it cost them the game because the Bengals didn't score. They didn't score on another possession. And so it was all she wrote on that game. My next play, I'm going to show you guys now. We're gonna go back to football. But we're gonna go to college football here, and I want to show you guys why Bijan Robinson is number one on so many people's list here. This is a 14-second clip, man. And look at this. This was against UTSA. Now UTSA was they are listen.
No.
I had to keep it Texas. I had to keep it Trill.
Oh,
so
really?
that's what I had to do. So I didn't do Oklahoma. I kept it here. So you're gonna see Bijan Robinson. Listen. Run through an arm tackle here, and we talked about his explosion and vision. I just want to let y'all see what he does here. Look, he had an open lane to the outside. He cuts this thing inside, and look, man, he's off to the races. But John Robinson, he's got a second gear. He even has a third gear. We think this guy we're gonna watch that again. We think this guy's gonna run a. Oh, I just want to see it. Look, arm tackle gone. Look at that. I mean, that's impressive, man. Like, to have that kind of vision where you could just take it outside was the easy way out. He not only did he not take it outside the tackle, but he took it right up the hole. Again, man, this is a special play by a special back. For when you look at the highlight, it doesn't look like, oh yeah, it's that hard. But man, when you really watch the tape and you really evaluate what you should be doing, like this just shows you why this guy, Bijan Robinson, is one of the best backs that we've seen in the last 10 years.
That's cold-blooded, Sterling. That's cold-blooded.
Go Runners.
One favorite swoop boogie. He hit a ha. No.
Go Runners. All right.
We still stand strong.
Yeah. Triangle of toughness, baby.
Motherfucking meat, nigga.
Texas Triangle of toughness. All right, y'all. So that is our show today. We're gonna close it up here.
I cannot believe that you used my motherfucking run.
Yeah. I seen it, dog. I see it, man. Look, all right, so we're going to close the show out today. If you tuned in to us, you want to tune in live, you can tune in Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube. It was the Gratwick Podcast Network and Gratwick Enterprises on Facebook, Gratwick Podcast Network on Twitch and YouTube. You can find us there. You want to find us on Twitter, you can go and search Sports Sushi, all one word, or you want to find us at Instagram, it's sports_sushi. If you want to find us individually, you can find me on all forms of social media at DJ Slow Boogie with the I and the E, not a Y. It's all one word. Sterling, what you got for us, dog?
Yeah, man. You can find me on Twitter at Furrow Sterling. You can find my work also at BuffaloRumblers.com. Again, I'm going to be at the Senior Bowl, giving you guys the knowledge and all the things, man. It's going to be a really cool week, so stay tuned for that. And I'm ready for this football weekend, baby.
Mm-hmm.
It's me. You already know. You can find me on Twitter at RLClimbSP or just search for Sports Plug Russ. You can find me sportsplug.russ on IG. And as always, if you're looking for some cool merchandise, you can always go to Sports Plug CC or Sports Plug Clothing Co. And the Jesus T just dropped, so check that out because Jesus saves and gets buckets.
All right, y'all. It's Sports Sushi, man. Peace.